Hello. Welcome. It is Sunday. It's Warhammer Sunday. It's time for me to crack on with some building. On a Sunday, hanging out with you guys in the chat. We're carrying on with the Primaris Repulsor. I couldn't think of the words then. Primaris Repulsor. But welcome. Before we get going, as always, quick shout out to all the people that make my content possible. First and foremost, my corporate supporters, emodels.co.uk and goblingaming.co.uk. Both stores that are your one-stop shop for all your model making and tabletop gaming needs. Links to those guys in the description below the video. Make sure you use those links. It tells them that I sent you and it helps out this channel. So go and check those out. And also to my patrons and my channel members. My patrons who joined me at patreon.com/modelmakingguru. And my channel members who pressed the join button underneath any one of my videos and became channel members. They all support me each month, so massive thank you to them. They keep the lights on, they make all of this possible. So big, fat, lovable, sloppy welcome and hello and thank you to them. But as always, this is one of my streams where I'll be sitting doing some work for 3 hours and you guys hanging out in chat, having a good time. So if you're watching this, you can see the archive of the chat there. But if you want to join the live chat, you need to be on YouTube. So if you're watching this embedded somewhere else and you can't see the live chat, click the YouTube icon that's at the bottom of the video player down in the bottom right hand corner somewhere. Click on that. It'll take you to the YouTube page where you can watch the video and join in the live chat at the same time. If you're on a mobile device like a tablet or phone, the chat might be underneath the video, so scroll down a bit. You're a bit out of breath now. I've kind of rushed through that bit. Quick swig of coffee. Welcome. So we're carrying on with the Primaris Redemptor today. Just before the camera started rolling and I went live, the the viewing targeting computer came off the what's it called now? I've forgotten what it's called already. Hang on. Came off the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon. Yes, this thing came off. Ping, with no effort. I didn't have much fun with that last time. I'm going to stick that back on now. I hope it stays on. Oh, yes, another reason for me to not like this kit. But yes, we're going to be carrying on with this. One little bit of news and update, by the way. I've just noticed this morning as I was getting set up for this live stream, my computer monitor that 99% of my work is done on, I noticed it's not even calibrated correctly. Yeah, for the last 3 or 4 years I've been using a poorly calibrated monitor, which means I've done a quick rough calibration now. I'm going to do a proper one later, but I've suddenly realised that all my video content live streams have been like too dark or too poorly coloured and terrible. I've only just noticed it now. So yeah, that was a great thing to find out. So I'm watching like all the video content I've put up in the last few weeks and I'm like, oh god, it looks terrible. I'm there thinking I've got it all nicely lit and coloured and everything, and now I've calibrated my monitor a bit better. I've no idea now what's good. I mean, this looks good to me now. This here looks good to me on my monitor, nice and bright and everything, but for all I know it could be dark as the night. I don't know. And this is the problem, you see, with the computer monitors. If it's not calibrated right, if you just get a monitor and just use it and don't ever calibrate it, you've no idea what you're actually putting out onto the YouTubes. You don't know whether it's too dark, too bright, too oversaturated, too undersaturated. It's a nightmare. It's a living nightmare. And I'd not done it for a few years, and I thought it was well calibrated, and it wasn't. So I'll be having some fun with some calibration tools later on and lots of swearing. Anyway, yes, welcome. We're going to carry on with this. I'll have a quick look at the chat. Pascal Leverse was of course the first person in chat. I've got the chat here in front of me as always, and of course as always Guthorm is keeping an eye on it. If you do want to catch my attention, this is all about you guys hanging out in chat, but if you do want to catch my attention, because I'm depending on you guys to have stuff to talk about, then please do put your comment in chat in big fat capital letters so I have a chance to see it, because once I'm focused on the model I can't really see that with my glasses. It's a bit blurry. So put your comment in big fat capital letters. Or if you want to, you can do a super chat, which you do by clicking the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That'll give you a prompt to do a super chat. That puts your comment in a colour box, and then I've got no way to miss it then. So do put your comments in bold. Oh, I just did a Ted and called it bold. Ted.
Slap it on.
Yes, do a Ted and put your comments in capital letters, or if you want to, a super chat, and I'll have a chance to see your comment then. If I do miss your question or comment, just repeat it a few minutes later. So we have Pascal Leverse, it was first in, Nim Cinderin is in as well, and Scale Model Muse, welcome to 3 of you, and B3, Steve is in. We have Vrailing Frostmere, welcome Vrailing. Vrailing. I'm guessing that's a Dungeons & Dragons D&D type name. Vrailing Frostmere, who else? What? Kildar 9000. No, sorry, reading it wrong. Kildar quadruple 0. Kildar, ooh, if you want to read the zeros as O's, is in. Welcome, Kildar. What else do we have in? We have lots of conversation on about centigrade and Fahrenheit and how it's warm and cold at the same time in 2 different places. Centigrade is, of course, the correct temperature measurements, and Fahrenheit is the American temperature measurements. Read into that statement what you will. David Sanderson is in. Welcome, David. He says, hi, everyone. Ian Thompson is in as well. Welcome, Ian. Warhammer twice in 1 week. We are privileged. No, I'm just filling space. I was just filling space on Wednesday. You had Skyrim as twice in 1 week as well, don't forget. It was a busy week for me. David Sanderson says, the big gun. Yes. Darren2159 is in. Welcome, Darren. We have Wayne Haywood. Wayne Haywood, welcome, my friend. There is somebody else. Dan Kramer came in. Woohoo, I just get home, turn on the TV and hear the final notes of Ooh, Canada. Yes. Frequency Gremlins, bane of YouTubers, says Kildar. Always. Wayne Haywood says, hello, everyone. He was first to comment, not the first here. He still makes it the first in chat then, doesn't it? Technically. If you're in chat first and you don't comment, then you snooze, you lose. You know what I mean? If you want to be the first in chat, you've got to actually do some chat. Okay, Caps, it is. Now my bad smelling is very bad. It says railing. It's misspelling the word my with an N. Yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, only yell if you have a question. Foxy, I need you to shake my paint. Made of owl today. Shake my paint. Hang on, let me give it a shake. How's that? You made me pen fall off now and everything. Did that do wobbling? Actually, it didn't wobble quite as much. I wobbled the desk as much, but like if I just like pick my glue up, the camera, which is on an arm on the different desk, wobbles everywhere. Like if I'd even touch that other desk, it does this. But if I then shake this desk violently, that camera doesn't move. There's just no justice. When I'm trying not to shake the camera, it wobbles like it's on an Atlantic crossing. I don't know. Nice job pronouncing my name properly. Most can't get it, says Velanon from Spedum. Sorry, I'm in a silly mood today. I don't talk to myself, Foxy. Thanks, lol. Oh god, it's early, I can't pronounce anything. Ah, says Railing Frostmere. Yes. Oh, I need to sniffle my nose already. I've been here 2 minutes. Yeah, so I noticed with about half an hour to go before the stream went live that how did I trigger? I was looking at something, and I was looking back on streams from the last few days, and I thought to myself, have I ever calibrated this monitor? And then I realised to my horror that I hadn't. So every time I'd filmed a video and I got all my exposure and f-stop and stuff on my camera, and I got everything nice and it looked brilliant and fantastic, and I was really happy that I'd managed to find a perfect way to light my videos. Watching them back now after I like calibration, it's like, my god, they look like they were filmed 20 years ago in the dark. It's a hard knock life. Right, let's fix this little git. This gun that gave me all the crap the week before last trying to get it to go on. The sights come off and it's got this tiny little connection point, and I hate it instantly. But I've got to try and get it back on now. Yeah. You are always in a silly mood, you silly fox, says Nim. Yes. Why did I hear that in Inigo's voice? Yeah, you're always in a silly mood, you silly fox. That wasn't really Inigo, was it? I know. Silly spiders. Right, so I've got to try and glue this little shit back on again. I'm going to do it. I've done a swear, but I don't care now. It deserves the swearing, this thing. Right. Get breath. I've only got a tiny little attachment point for it because I couldn't use the official attachment point because it wouldn't stay on. And I've got a tiny little connection point here, and it's not going to stay on, I don't think. That made me jump. You won't know what that was, but I think something just... Well, I'm going to go and check in a second. Right while I was trying really carefully to balance this in place, which I failed at, I think something landed on my window ledge and started walking around. Either that or there's a ghost in here, because I just got the sound of very moist bubble wrap. And it made me a little bit nervous. I'm like, what's that noise? It was like... And I'll have to go and quickly check. This isn't going to stay on now, is it? It's going to be an absolute arse. this little piece. Not going to stay on, is it? It's not going to stay on at all. The contact point is too small. Even the fast setting glue is not wanting to set fast very well at all here. That's just not going to play ball at all. Watch it fall off now. No, maybe not. I'm just going to quickly look out my window and see what that little squishy, rather disturbing organic noise was. It better be like a magpie or something. Huh. I don't know what it is. I don't like unexplained noises in small rooms. Especially when I'm surrounded by lights and electric equipment and stuff and it's like... Yeah, I didn't like that noise. Colin at Festive 67's workshop's in. Hey, Col. Afternoon, folks. Hope you're all well, says Col. I am certainly well. Thank you, mate. I actually missed... I was in your stream today, Col, but sadly I missed most of it because I was panicking about the calibration on my monitor. I had it in the background and was completely distracted, so I do apologise. Right, that's gone on somehow, miraculously. Yeah, I don't think it's going to stay on. I think it's going to come off again at the slightest provocation. Git. Breathe on it. I don't know if that does anything. I could super glue it, but I suppose I could if I was desperate. Oops, excuse me, burpage. I'll just not touch it for a little while now. How you doing, Colin? Could be a cat on the windowsill. I'm like, it's the first floor, and there's no way for a cat to get on my windowsill. It's like that wide. If it was a cat on the windowsill, I'd be very concerned for the cat. Ghost and Bugs, the worst combo. Just put her outside. Hey, Col, says Muse. Overslept and totally missed you guys, says Muse to Col. LD's in. Welcome, LD. Muse spent a bit on Amazon this week. Got a great case and grip for my Switch Lite. Anyone got a Switch Lite? The Skull & Co grip is fantastic. I was tempted to get a Switch. Not a Switch Lite. I was looking at a Switch at one point, but the whole joystick drift thing just completely put me off. It's a pain in the bum with the Switch, but on a Switch Lite, if you get joystick drift, you have to send the console back. It put me off. So hopefully that's not a thing anymore. That was a while ago when I was looking at that. I don't know if they've fixed it since. But yeah, I was quite tempted. I quite like the look of the Switch. Be very careful of spiders. I was in Skyrim and I was attacked by a bunch of frostbite spiders in the woods and died, says Vrailing Frostmere. Yeah, they are quite scary when you're starting out on low level. Just click and it shows up. It's magic, says Muse. That's Amazon. One of my boys got the Switch. Hee, says Muse. Yes. Oh, by the way, yeah, Mama Fox has ordered some nonsense that's probably going to turn up during my stream. She's ordered some stuff off Amazon, and it's entirely possible it'll turn up during the stream, but she's buggered off for a snooze, so I'll have to go and get the door if it goes. So apologies. I was like, oh, okay, you go and have a snooze. I'll sort out the door in the middle of my stream. Never mind. I don't know. Right, that's still a bit loose, but it might tighten up eventually. I may have Gundam goodness coming, says Festa 67 Workshop. Oh, have you ordered the Tria? I hope you have ordered the Tria. That's what you needed to order. Cole was asking me, he said he was asking me to recommend a Gundam for him to have some fun with. So I recommended the Kshatriya because it's just awesome. And I think it's a really big gunpla, and it's not expensive, and it's a beautiful model, and I think you'll have some real good fun with it. I think it'll be right up your street, Cole. I think you'll have some good fun times with that. So awesome. You've done well, my child. Right. We'll leave that alone for a little bit while it cures. I have to assemble the personage. Oh, last week we did the... Hang on. That one is the Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon. And this is the Onslaught Gatling Cannon, because it's not heavy, obviously. So I need to clean that up first and apply the ammo box to it. So we'll get that cleaned up first and get the ammo box on. I really want to know what that noise was. Oh, it was like... It was a bit like... if you've ever been in a house and there's, say, a small pebble roll down the roof, say a bird's dropped a stone or something. It happens occasionally. You'll hear a little stone kind of go down the tiles on the roof. It was a bit like that, but more squishy. I don't I'm going to video it as well, says Colin. Yes, you should get a video series out of the Kshatriya, dude. It's a beautiful model. I can't wait to do mine. When I do eventually get back into doing some Gunpla, because I need to, I've got the Kshatriya in my stash. That'll be the first one I do, because I've got some ideas for it. Right, visor down. Don't forget the no longer rear tech marine. Yes, I've got to do him as well. I've got to kind of figure out how to assemble him with this gun so I can plop him in later. Now, we built this last time. We did the squeeze and seal method, so we squeezed it so the glue and the melted plastic came out and filled the gap. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Zooming. Didn't really zoom in much. How's the picture, by the way? We're looking good? We're looking bright, dark, overcoloured, undercoloured, anemic, apocalyptic? I don't know. Do let me know. Yes, I look forward to seeing what you can do with it there, Col. Like I say, you can get a nice big build series out of that. The build isn't complicated. It's, you know, it's quite a straightforward HG kit. Even go. But I think I have some great fun painting it. Just because it's great and big. I would recommend perhaps, I mean, it's entirely up to you, but I would recommend perhaps doing it in a fixed pose. So you don't have to worry about having a different, if you want, for example, a shiny inner frame, because there isn't much of an inner frame on it because it's an HG kit, so they're quite simple. But I would recommend, if you want to have, especially if you want some, you know, a shiny frame and matte outer armor, for example, do it as a fixed pose. So glue the arms and legs in the pose you want them. That way you're not having to have like 100 things on sticks managing. It's like herding cats. But if you just decide on a pose and glue all the arms and legs into the, you know, glue them at the elbows and the knees. So instead of having 100 things on sticks, you have a leg, an arm, torso, head, backpack. There you go, done. And the 4, you know, sticky out wing things. Can't remember what they're called now. 4 of them. It just makes life a bit easier. But it depends on the inner frame, of course. Of course, if you're not really fussed, if it's all going to be matte when it's finished, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Does not matter. You do you, Cole, and do it how you think you want to do it. That's all that matters. So we're just going to get rid of the mould lines, rid of the glue bead that's been popped up since we squeezed this together. Because the gaps are small enough that I didn't need to worry about using fillers and such. They weren't really that relevant, to be perfectly honest. Let's get the small sanding sponge. Anyway, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. I am fine and dandy. Apart from whatever that noise was, making me a little bit scared. I don't believe in ghosts and all that crap, but it doesn't mean I can't be spooked by an unexplained noise. Every time Mama Fox's Xbox turns on by itself in the middle of the night downstairs, it gives me a little bit of a chill down the back of my neck. And like I say, even though I don't believe in all that ghosts and rubbish, it's just like, oh, there's something just instinctive, even for the most hardened of skeptics like myself. I remember once I was sat downstairs doing something. It was late at night. Mama Fox had gone to bed and I was downstairs doing something. And I'm just sat there and there was this noise suddenly, and it was exactly perfectly the noise of a piece of paper, just like, you know, when you turn a page in a book and it's like that, but a bit louder. Almost like a piece of paper being, I don't know, folded and dropped off a shelf or something, and fluttering down. It was exactly that fluttering paper noise. And yet there was nothing in the room at all by way of loose paper. And I say, I'm a complete skeptic. I don't believe in woo-woo nonsense and crap like that. But I'm like, still gave me the little bit of chills. I'm like, what was that? I'm not immune to spooks, if you know what I mean, to being spooked by things. I wouldn't like to walk through a forest at night, even though I know there's just nothing going to happen to me. It's completely harmless. In this country where there's not like wolves and bears and stuff, you know. Well, usually not wolves. So we're just cleaning up this glue bead as best we can. Just getting some of the splooge out of the little vents on the barrel of the weapon. Now it is tricky when you do this cleanup of the glue bead because, of course, the glue bead is shinier than the surrounding plastic. And it can be quite misleading because sometimes the bead that's left behind can leave you a little line of shiny where the glue has filled the gap. And sometimes it can leave behind a little line of, say, a paler colour where the plastic's melted and become a little bit stressed and then refilled and, you know, solidified up. So sometimes you get, like on the blue, you get a very light, almost white line of fill. And it can make it look like you've got a physical lump or mark or depression or something like that you would then assume, well, you're thinking to yourself, well, that's going to show up under the primer. So you start sanding them down or flatten them down. But in reality, sometimes they're actually nice and flat and smooth. It just looks like it sticks up because it's a different colour or shiny or something. So it is possible to overdo the sanding and stuff on these when you do this kind of filling method. So you'll see me doing this occasionally where I hold it up to the light. It's just to get a light on it to see if it casts a shadow. There's a little, you can't see it here, but there's a little like a almost white line between the little bit of the vent on the barrel and the edge of it there. And it's actually flat, it's smooth, there's nothing for me to sand down. It's just a little pale line where there's like squidged glue. But it looks like there's still a raised edge and I'm sitting here sanding it. When I held it up to the light just then, it's smooth as. You won't see that once the primer's on. So there we go, that's that done. I think that's... smooth off this bit at the back. If you remember, I didn't take off the nubs completely on this because most of them were on the half joint, the halfway joint. So you don't need to take them off until you do this cleanup at the end. There was a nub on the end there, which is a curved surface. So I've just sanded it away now and it's fine. Absolutely fine. I think that is done. Hold it to the light. Should look good when it's all primed and ready. Right, I've got to clean up the ammo box, which is somewhere, which I put down, and the place I put it was somewhere. Deep joy. Where did I put the ammo container? There it is. Yes. Slight moment of panic then. I shall be binge watching your build for George series, says Colin. Cool. Yes. Although I don't think I did a... Oh no, I did. I did a separate frame for that. I did all... Yeah. If you're gluing... What I found the easiest thing to do was, if you're doing like... Because you've got... When you build a gunplay, if you've not done one before, you have, I think you've done the GM Sniper. The basic rule of thumb is you've got 2 arms, 2 legs, torso, and then you've got like head and backpack, and that's kind of, if you break it down, that's kind of it. With the Kshatriy, you've got torso, 2 arms, 2 legs, and then the 4 binders, the 4 big things on the side. With the Master Grade, you can build the entire inner frame in advance and put the armour on. With an HG, it's a bit different, so you want to have a look and see where you need to build the frame into the armour, and sometimes you can put the armour on later if you want to do that. But yeah, if you're gluing arms and legs and stuff, I would recommend just get yourself, have a look on the instructions. If it's polystyrene, you're good to go. If it's ABS, you'll need some of that plastic magic. And I just glued my figure at the knees. So I got the leg in the position I wanted, and then I glued the knee. I didn't have the armour on, but I can do that on Master Grade. I did the same with the ankles. Anything that I needed to glue, fixed. So the elbows, the knees. I tried gluing the leg into the torso in the waist, but it didn't quite work. But anything you can glue, but before you glue a joint on an arm or a leg on a gunplay, if you want to do a fixed pose, if you've got armour that goes on it, on the frame, put it in the pose loosely without gluing it, and then make sure you can get the armour on. Because I had one once where I had a leg like that, and I glued the leg in place. I glued the joint, there you go, that's the knee, leg like that, and then I was like, I'll put the armour on, and this back piece of armour wouldn't fit because the bits on here got in the way. But luckily it hasn't set, so I had to kind of force it apart again. So always dry fit it first, get the arm or the leg in the position you want, and just make sure you can put on any armour that goes on the outside. Otherwise you'll have to hack it around a bit. So, but you might not have that with the Kshatriy. It's not quite as demanding. It's not got a full inner frame, so. Worst thing about the spiders is that I have mods so the spiders are a lot bigger and do much more damage. There were 7 giant spiders the size of normally spawned giant boss spider. Oh, right, okay, yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, that makes life a bit more challenging. What is the wind speed velocity of a swallow, asks Vrailing Frostmere. Yes, very good. Picture is nice, cool, thank you very much. Top tip, I will do that. And if you want to mount it to a base, I found the way I did it in that, which was using a small acrylic rod or some kind of rod. Just drill a hole in the foot and basically, how did I do it now? Can't remember now. Anyway, yeah, I just rod mounted into the base, if you're making a little base or a diorama, and then the foot sits on that like that. So you're just drilling a hole. There was already a hole in like a circular area on the bottom of the foot, so just drill a hole somewhere. You know what you're doing. I don't need to tell you how to do it. You know how to make models. Just treat it like a normal model. William Rayborn, hello, how are you doing today? Hello, William, I'm fine, thank you. Ghosts are not woo-woo nonsense, says Scale Model Muse. Absolutely they are. Vrailing Frostmere, oh dear, I'll be back soon. Hopefully the neighbours are at it again. I know this is America, but as this is a nice neighbourhood, so they can go shoot each other somewhere else. Oh dear. Stay safe, dude. Old line is, you are the scariest thing out there in those woods. Oh yeah. Let's kill that. Unless you're an American, in which case there could be a bear or a mountain lion or a wolf or a cougar or any number of other things that can attack you. If you're Australian, of course, even the grass can kill you. Here in the UK, there's nothing in the woods that's going to kill you apart from a nutter who might come and kill you, but that's kind of rare. So I think there's no animals that are going to do you any harm. You know, you might. The worst thing you might do is fall down a rabbit hole or walk into a spider web. That would make me poop myself. You know, but still, not that bad. Oh, I have some plastic magic. I'm doing a 3D printed base. Haulage will be done. There you go. You know what you're doing anyway. I don't need to tell you how to do all that stuff. But for the actual gunplay, yeah, have a proper plan through the build. I don't know how much of it is like in a frame that you then put the armor on afterwards. If you need any separation like that, just try and plan it in advance and see what you can pre-assemble. Plan where you're going to fill gaps. Because, for example, on the armor, there might be a seam down the middle, but it's not like 2 pieces of armor. You have to build the arm with the armor on. So have a look and see. Just try and plan ahead. It will make your life easier. You know, I got burnt out on Gunpla because of all the excessive planning you have to do, especially for master grades. Because I often wanted like a metallic frame and then matte, not shiny armor, and it just burnt me out. I just wanted to build them and paint them, but it turned out to be a week of planning and stress and trying to figure out the order of build, and I'd go to bed at night and be like mulling over in my mind how to best assemble and paint something, and then I would lose sleep over it, and it was a nightmare. And I'm like, this isn't how it's supposed to work. This isn't how any of this is supposed to work. I got burnt out a bit, and that's why I've stepped away from them. Because if you remember, like I said many times, I'm not a builder, I'm a painter. So all that extra planning and like, I can paint this here, but that means I've got to assemble this bit later, but I can't do that because then I have a big seam line that I need to do before I paint it. It just became unfun. So, but that's master grades. HG a bit different. But I since learned, you know, I can counteract that by just doing fixed posed. I got hung up on the fact that Gunpla are completely posable, and I suddenly realised I can kind of ignore that. It doesn't. When I build these things, if I spend 100 hours building and painting a Gunpla and sell it for £300, you can kind of guarantee the person that buys it isn't going to sit there playing with it. So I don't need to have it posable. And that just instantly took a weight off my shoulders. I'm like, oh, now it's just a model. Now I can have fun with it. So yeah, don't get bogged down by that. It doesn't have to be posable. Do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what you're going to do with that, Cole, because I think you'll do some good things with that. I think you'll have some good fun with that. Right, this ammunition box, get it all cleaned up. Anyway, I hope you're all well. Hope everybody is okay. As Dad's not here, I'll let Colin ask the question, seeing as Cole's in and Dad's not. Go on, Cole. Ask the question, Cole. You know the question. I'll let you ask Dad's question. You know the question. Yeah, that's that done. Lovely. I think that's clean. I'll just check under the light again. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, so to my horror, anyway, I've got to, when I've finished here tonight and had my tea and stuff, I've got to go and do some panicky gamma adjustment and calibration adjustment and figure out how the hell to adjust the calibration on my monitor. Because that's the big problem. What you see on your monitor is not necessarily what's actually going on in the outside world. How does this attach now? This goes like that. No, like that. There we go. Seriously? So even ammo boxes, I really don't know what they've done with this kit. Even ammo boxes, it's a square hole and a square peg and it doesn't fit. I'm not enjoyed this build at all. There's either no attachment points or very, very vague attachment points, or they just don't fit. Was this whole kit designed by an intern? Because, you know, it kind of has this feel that it's not the regular guys that did the work on this. Yes. It doesn't seem to have that. I was saying about doing the Gunpla and getting burnt out on the Gunpla because there was just too much thinking involved. One of the beautiful things about Warhammer is it just kind of it just works. To quote Todd Howard, it just works. And this one is proving me wrong on that one. Apart from Space Marine bikes, obviously. But they're old. This lot isn't old. Right, that's that on. That looks pretty. To look at it with the colours, it looks rough and scraped on the ammo box, but to look at it actually in the light, and once it's got primer on it, it'll be nice and smooth. There's also a little sort of funny patch there where the glue's melted the plastic a bit. Again, that'll be perfectly flat when it's primed, but I might give it a quick sand in a bit when that's had time to dry. How's this thing doing? Yeah, this thing's on a bit more firmly now, but that would quite easily snap off if I was to. Yeah, it's only got. I don't even think that's attached how it's supposed to be attached, but it's the only way I could get it to attach and fit. Hang on. What's chat doing? Coffee and lots of stuffs. Colin says, what's in your belly and what's on your bench? There you go. Thank you, Colin. Hello, Fox and Chat, says Steve W. Welcome, Steve. Welcome, welcome. You forgot the snakes, Foxy. You've got adders. Can be dangerous, says Muse. I have never seen an adder in my life. They're not that common. And they don't tend to come out at night anyway. They're daytime snakes. They bask in the sun. So you're probably not going to get attacked by an adder in the middle of the night in a woodland in the UK. You might get a badger having a go. I mean, badgers can be. Hang on, let me just adjust me mat. Badgers can be grumpy. Don't get me wrong. Can probably give you a nasty bite, but it's not like being mauled by a mountain lion, I suppose. Giant hogweed. Oh yeah, hogweed. Because that gives us like burn, doesn't it? That's like the big tall stuff with the white flowers on the end. I remember there's a river near us, and there's like some farmers' fields and stuff. And if you go off the little pathway, at one point they were growing like corn on the cob, like full size corn, and you walk through the field and it's like 8 foot high. That was weird. But then one year they didn't grow anything, and it just the whole field filled with hogweed like 9 or 10 feet high. It was amazing and also terrifying at the same time. Yeah, so what's in your belly and what's on your bench? What are you having for your dinner? What have you had for your dinner, depending on where you are? And what's on your bench? What are you working on? What's your current build project or painting or any kind of craft? What's your current craft project? Railing Frostmere says Mobley. Mobley? I know Mobley. Oh, not Mobley round where I am, but okay, Mobley, Missouri. Okay, that's kind of bizarre. Mobley's a place not too far from me, but in the UK. Eon's car, welcome Eon's car, says vroom, screech, crashes, gets out, checks Dr. Pepper bottle, opens, and it finishes it off. Howdy, folks. Yeah, but is that where you like do a 360 turn and then still park lined up with the curb? That'd be impressive. Still half awake, so no gluing things for me yet, says Muse. I was attacked by a non-venomous garden snake. I now have a new pet. Cool. I've only seen in the wild, I've only seen one snake ever, and that was where I used to work. In an industrial park. I went to open the gate at the back one day and there was a slow worm. So I picked it up and was looking at it. The slow worm's just like a very small snake, lizard thing. It's like a very small snake. It's completely harmless. They're just completely dopey. About that long. So I had it on my hand and it was whizzing around. Well, I say whizzing around. It's not exactly fast moving. So I had to go and put it in some... It was in the middle of an industrial park. I had to go and find some grass to put it away. That's the only time I've ever seen a wild herp in this country. Never seen a grass snake. We've only got grass snakes, slow worms, and adders. Adders are venomous. Grass snakes aren't. Which reminds me, did somebody say poisonous or venomous? Do I need to shout at someone for saying poisonous? Worst thing to find in the woods is either a bear or a pope, says David Sanderson. And I'd say the popes were the worst thing. Oh yeah, no. I don't need to shout at anybody for saying poisonous. Where are we? Only badges I've seen are dead ones on the A30, says David Sanderson. Harsh. I'm doing good just to recall people's names, says Muse. On the bench is a Space Marine, says Eon's Carp. A Space Marine biker dude, not the bike. Chaplain and Scout, and a Demonette, and for the belly, Katsu chicken curry. Oh, yeah. If it's a biker dude and you've got a Chaplain and a Scout, does that mean it's the Dark Angels bike set? And not just a regular Space Marine bike? The ones with the wings. Is it Dark Angels, the one with the wings? Hogweed can burn the heck out of... Yeah, no, and it's huge. Yeah. Huge plants can be kind of scary sometimes. We've got a skunk cabbage in our pond. I've posted pictures up before. And during the summer, those leaves can get like 5 or 6 feet long. And it's like... It used to live in the pond. Now it owns the pond. And we have to refill the pond like every couple of weeks because it drains it and drinks the water. Massive. Mobbly, Missouri. Okay, not Mobbly around my part of the world. I hate it here. The nickname for this state is Misery, says Rayleigh Frostbear. Garden snakes are awesome, says Muse. I like lizards and snakes. They actually have good personalities, says Rayleigh. I like lizards and snakes and things. I have nothing against it. I'm not scared of snakes. I've held various snakes. They're kind of cool. Commonroe Junction's in. Welcome, Commonroe Junction. Steve W says, Belly, self-made curry, love it. Bench, Outriders, the new marine biker. Cool. B3 says, Belly was roast chicken dinner with roast taters, broccoli, collie, and bubble and squeak mash and gravy. Bench. That's 2 different meals. Hang on, that's roast chicken dinner with roast taters, broccoli, and collie. Bubble and squeak is a completely different meal. That's like having ham and chips with beans and the chicken casserole. I'm not complaining about that. 2 meals in one. Happy times. Benj is sorting through the greeble stash. So a normal day then for you. It is the pond, says Muse. Absolutely. Nope, 2 from the Conquest set and the Scout was bought separately in the box, that is. Okay, so you're building the evil Space Marine bikes that I've been putting off. They're still in the box, I've not touched them yet. They might just wait till I finish painting everything else in the entire set. Might be in a couple of years. Now that I'm an adult, I'm never going there if I can avoid it, says Railing Frostmere. I guess that's the Mark Twain National Forest. Now it is the pond, yes. Yes, our skunk cabbage is great. It's supposed to smell, hence the name skunk cabbage, but it's never smelled. It literally, in the start of spring, it goes like that. It appears from nowhere because it just dies off under the water. Thump, massive thing the size of, I don't know, a car. Leaves 6 or 7 foot long, about 3 foot wide. It takes up the entire pond. It sits there. It pops out a few little sticky out rudy bits that are the breedy things that look like ginormous pineapples, like that. And then in autumn, winter, it just goes bye and disappears again. It's about 20 years old. We've had it for 20, 25 years, I don't know, something like that. It's just still going strong. And it might actually be 2 of them in there now. I don't know, because it seems to have got so big. Possibly it could actually be 2 of them. Who can say? Right, that's gluing nicely. We need to assemble the dude. So for the dude, we need 114, 15, 19, and 20. 22 and some other bits. So let me... I've got a Klingon. It's my dad device. Yeah. Candyman from On goes in. He says, greetings everyone. Belly egg white omelette with sweet pepper, spinach and mushrooms shared with my dog as always. Yeah, you always share good food with your dog. Your dog's, because your dog's worth it. Let's build a space Maureen. Apologies if I knock the camera while I'm taking this off the sprue. Bit there and that bit there. Go. Little bit of home action. Oh, hang on. Wait, there's the. Wait. Oh, well, that makes life easier. I can have one arm not on the trigger if I do the Tech Marine without the helmet. However, he's getting a helmet because I always do the helmet. And he's getting one arm off the trigger because that makes my life a hell of a lot easier. Excellent. Right, let's get this thing on, shall we? We've got a plan how we're going to attach all this now. There's his bonds. There's his bonds. There's pauldroniums. Pauldroniums. I keep saying space. He's not a space. He's a Tech Marine. You can tell by the markings on his pauldron that he's been sent off to the Adeptus Mechanicus to learn how to maintain and do all the goodness with various bits of equipment. I will need to add a grip onto the weapon, so I'll need 122. He's only got one hand on one of the grips, so yeah. So he's been off to visit with the Adeptus Mechanicus to be taught how to maintain his equipment. That's why you get often, if I remember rightly, that's why a lot of Space Marines, you'll see them, things like pilots and stuff, they'll have Adeptus Mechanicus markings on their pauldrons because they have to go off to the Adeptus Mechanicus to be trained in the way of machine spirits. And you can't just, not everybody can repair equipment. It's down to the Mechanicus to sort that. So they have to be sent off and specially trained to do that. Because, that's how things work in 40k. It's not just a case of fix it and repair it. That's not how technical stuff works. Not a case of just, bodge it back in place with a hammer and a screwdriver. No, 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 no. That's not how these things work. On camera? Yes. Still want to know what that noise was. It was a horrible noise. It was like... It was really organic. It didn't sound good at all. Now there's supposed to be a little nub on the bottom of these hand grips. Unfortunately, the nub is exactly the same size and shape as the actual nub that attached it to the sprue. So I'm afraid that nub is being, that little sort of bolt is being sacrificed for the greater good. Unfortunately, what I can do though, what I could do if I want to be clever, stick a rivet on it. Yeah, I do that. Just to replace the little detail. As you know, George is worth it. Now, if you've not seen one of these before, what I'm currently working through at the moment is getting everything built up from the Hachette Partwork Warhammer Conquest, which is basically an 80-issue magazine series. With each magazine, you get a series of Games Workshop Warhammer kits that allow you, at the end of it, you'll have built up a Space Marine force and a Death Guard force, and all the bits of scenery and terrain and stuff that you need to have them fight each other and play games. It basically allows you to build up 2 armies and have all the stuff you need to play at Warhammer 40k with those 2 armies. A good starting point if you want to get into Warhammer 40k. And it's a co-project between myself, obviously, and my very good friend and patron George, who basically ponied up the cash for this, big chunk of it. Made it possible for me to do it. So we're splitting it half and half. George is getting all the Space Marine stuff, all the Imperial bits. Excuse me. And I'm keeping all the Death Guard stuff. So, which means I've got to be super, super careful and thoughtful with the Space Marine stuff. Make it look as good as possible. And then with the Death Guard stuff, I can just cobble it together and slap some paint on it. No, I'm only joking. They'll all get good paint jobs. But I'm being extra careful with George's, because this is his. This will go to his collection eventually. I've not even sent him his Sazabi yet, because I can't post anything at the moment because of Chocolate Velociraptor. So, yes, George will get to keep all this. Now, we don't know what colour we're going to paint these, and it does mean, of course, that I'm going to have to, at some point, scrape off and remove any moulded in Ultramarines markings off some of the dudes, which is a right pain in the backside. I can tell you. I have to do that. Thanks, Obama. Like some of the named characters, like, you know, I think Lieutenant Calcium and some of the other ones, they've actually got Ultramarine markings moulded into that armour, which is fantastic if you want to make Ultramarines, because you've got no imagination and you've got no taste. But if you're like a normal person, you want to make a different chapter, yeah. There you go. Please carefully remove all the Ultramarine markings from outside all the other markings on his armour. Thanks. Thanks for that. Really helpful. Yes, I'm not a big expert on the lore, so if I was wrong about the Mechanicus thing, about the Tech Marines, do let me know. But my understanding is that just regular Space Marines who've shown an aptitude for such matters, and they get farmed off to the Adeptus Mechanicus on Mars or wherever. It might be it might be part of the Mechanicus that's on their home planet, to learn all about maintaining the equipment and that kind of stuff. So a lot of times you'll find like pilots and vehicle crews and things who are Space Marines will actually be Tech Marines. Tiny little mould line there and a tiny little bit that I can't quite get to with my scrapey tool. I have to bite the bullet and use my knife. Bleh. That's looking mighty fine, if I do say so myself. Mighty fine. Oh yes, now I guarantee I'll probably snap that antenna off his helmet at some point. It will happen. I can guarantee it. I want my scribing tool to just run around the top of the ear plate. I have the little silver ear piece that goes under the top of the helmet, and there's a little recess that runs around it. And you always get the mould line in there. So your scribing tool is a handy little tool just to clean that up. Sometimes it's not so cooperative. That time I think we got away with it. You may not think there's much need of a scribing tool for Warhammer stuff, but it comes in mighty handy for all things like, you know, mould lines on ribbed undersuits and plasma weapons and things. So even if all you make is Warhammer stuff and you don't make model planes and cars and trucks, you still should get yourself a scribing tool. They are incredibly useful. Let's put these on there. Get mixed up. We've got a bit of torso. Cleaning on there, but not too much. Filing, flat things. Anyway, yes, hope you're all well. Not much gossip from my end, as I've been streaming most of the week, so everything I've been able to tell you about, I've already told you about. Anything else to mention, really, that's been going on? Nothing, really. Mama Fox has bought a soup maker. I don't I've not really read anything about it. She saw it and was like, oh, get that. Even though it's me that does all the cooking, so I'm like, oh, great, thanks. Apparently you just put your bits in it and it makes it into a soup somehow. And at first I thought, is it not just like a really tall, thin, slow cooker, basically? And so like, no, it mashes things up into different amounts so you can have really, really thick soups or really thin. I'm like, okay, I don't understand. But it sounds interesting. So she was a soup maker. I love the way she orders all these things that she's not going to use because I do all the cooking. I don't know. Oh, the other day as well, if you didn't watch my stream yesterday, I received a very nice gift from our friend Paul over at Glue to the Sprue and Team Inept. In a private conversation, well, not private, in a Facebook group conversation the other day with a group of us. It might have been in Chris's gross group chat, I can't remember. There was some conversation going on, and somehow it ended up with me pretending, in character as a Khajiit, buying a lockpick and a spoon and making a lock spoon. Combining them to make a lock spoon. And then I instantly forgot about that conversation. The next day an Amazon parcel turned up that included a pack of tablespoons. So now I've got 10 more tablespoons and a lockpick set. Which I couldn't quite get my head around. The instructions are written in some bizarre translated Chinese, so Chris over at Gross Models has sent me a proper PDF in, you know, easy to understand terms, and I still didn't quite understand it. But I'm playing around with it. I'll keep trying it. Yeah, that's one arm. It's one arm. That nub looks a little bit flat where it's been sanded away, so let me just soften that a bit. Smooth the curve. Don't know what that was. Smooth. Yeah, taken the nub off, but I've left a little sort of flat corner to his. There you go, that'll do. To his armour. I shall have a look at chat in a moment. Peeps, remember, if you want to get my attention, I know I'm right here, but that's all blurry to me because I've got me flippity flappity magnifying lenses down. I can't see for shit, basically. Do put your comments in capital letters, so at least have a chance of seeing them, or do a super chat if you want to. That way there's no way I can miss a super chat because it also animates the thing up here and makes a noise. So there's no way I can miss it. Unless I don't turn on the desktop. Oh no, that's off. Checking something. What else has been going on? So yes, thank you, Paul, for my silly gift. You're very kind, you spoon. Lock spoon. I instantly forgot the conversation, like the moment we'd had the conversation. So when I got this packet with like a lockpick kit and 10 tablespoons, I'm like, what the hell? Where's this coming? Just Amazon packets. I've got no idea where it came from, you see. And then this morning, even more weirdness, this morning, I went downstairs to make a brew at one point, and just out of habit, just popped my head through the curtains on the front porch. We've got, like, our front door, we've got curtains on the front door, and I keep them closed this time of year when it gets a bit cold, just to keep the heat in. So I popped the curtains open, had a look down into the porch, and there's a packet there. So I opened the porch, and it's a small packet of Aldi Stollen. Not wrapped, just there in the porch. And I'm like, okay. Not delivered by any, not got through the post, just literally somebody's opened my porch, plonked them on the doormat, and just gone. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. I mean, if I've got a stalker and they're dropping Stollen in my porch, not kind of a bad stalker really, but it turns out it was actually one of my friends who'd just been shopping at Aldi, and I guess Aldi have got their Christmas stuff in. If you go into Aldi, if you've got an Aldi near you, do go in if they've got the Christmas stuff. Go and get a whole load of their Stollen. They have a load of German stuff at Christmas, and they sell this dirt cheap Stollen, which is fantastic. It's the densest food. It's like the black hole of food. It's the densest substance known to man, but it's delightful. Anyway, he'd been shopping and he picked up an extra pack and just dropped it off on his way home. But didn't tell me, didn't send me a message, because I said to Mama Fox, well, it might be my mate Martin, but I've not had a text from him. I just texted him like, did you just drop off some Stollen in my put? He went, oh, you saw that, did you? So, yeah. Bless him. He wouldn't have told me. He would have just let me. He would have let me like suffer without knowing who sent it. If I, well, It was kind of obvious it was him. To me, anyway. Yeah, so Stollen. Oh, yes. If you've never had Aldi Stollen, about this time of year, October, November, they start getting all the seasonal stuff. And for them, seasonal stuff is a load of German stuff. It's all really nice. Scraping, scraping. But just get rid of this mould line on the top of the grips, which is a bit finicky because it goes over a couple of raised details. I don't really want to lose the raised details. Quite tricky to get rid of them. Mould line without scraping them away. Excuse me. And what I will do is, because I had to sand that bit flat, I shall get for myself. It's rivet time. Yes, it's time to be riveted with my riveting skills. Adjust my lenses. Sent to me by my very, very dear friend Kenneth in Australia land. Yum. Oh. Coffee's done. Time for water. Quick look at chat. Good for Paul ensuring that Model Maker Guru won't be running out of spatulas or spoons anytime soon, says Candygram. Absolutely, I've got millions of spoons now. And the real thing is, when Paul sent me a load of spatulas as a joke, they're actually really good spatulas, and I use them all the time now. Right, what we're talking about. How are you keeping, Fox? Says Common Road. I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing, Common Road Junction? Maybe that noise was your serial killer neighbour throwing severed heads over the fence. Well, the thing is, on this side, I've got a lovely lady who keeps herself to herself, but she's actually quite hot. I quite like her, but she's lovely. Anyway, you'd hardly ever hear from her, so she could be a serial killer. And on that side is a lovely young family who went to India in March and haven't come back yet. They went to India in March for I think for 4 weeks to see family. They haven't come back yet. Yeah, they kind of like a week after they'd gone, the UK shut down. So I know they're in contact with my neighbour next door, but one the other way. I think because he mows their lawn for them. He's been looking after the lawn and stuff. So I assume they're doing all right. But yeah, it's like, have they not got? Oh, so I'm kind of worried about them a little bit. But they might be. They were staying with family, so they're probably fine. They're probably like, you know what, we'll just stay here for now. Right, so let's get some rivetations done. I just need to put one little tiny rivet on a surface here, so I will very carefully place my rivet first. Now I know it's a rivet, but it's just about the right size for the detail that I had to sand off. So, tiny amount of glue, squish it down. There we go. See, George, all the things I do for you. It's just about in the right place. Perfect. I think that's lined up. Just off centre. Oops. It looks like the bottom of the hand grip now. I could make it the top of the hand grip and that'd be the fire button. Because it's about the right size. We'll put that there. So yeah, I love these rivets. Kenneth, I cannot thank you enough for these rivets, ever. Because they're so easy to put on and they're so useful as tiny little greebles. Not just rivets, but as greebles. God, I can't spell, says Vrailing. What are the odds? Loud thump against the window, saw a bird fly off. I occasionally get like a pigeon or a sparrow or something bangs off my window, and it doesn't actually startle me because it's happened a few times. But sometimes it's like a pigeon, like a wood pigeon. They're big bastards, and they just go clunk, and then you've got a big imprint on the window. Looking at bacon. People still talking about bacon. Just quickly whizzing through the chat. Geese's. Oh! Excuse me, that tasted like mackerel. Ooh. Geese as jerky, now that may work. Sadly, we can't hunt those. What, we can't hunt geese? Or Muse can't hunt geese? Waterfowl rules. What do you mean we can't hunt geese? We finally got an Aldi, Foxy, says Muse. Oh, Aldi are brilliant. They sell all the best off-brand tat that you can imagine, and it's actually good stuff, a lot of it. I mean, they have, all the food is fine. It's all off-brand food, and it's all fine. The cereals, there's nothing wrong with any of it, apart from their coffee. All the own brand gold label coffee that's called, not Alclad, it's something like Alcatel or Alclad or something like that. It's terrible. Don't do the coffee. But everything else they do is fine. Some of in our local one, and a few of the ones around here, they have like a glass cabinet with tech stuff in it. It'll be like a security camera or a USB speaker set, and all these they'll have little things in the cabinet for like gadgets. They're generally not great, but they're generally cheap. So if you need a cheap webcam or a cheap security wildlife camera or a cheap mag light or something, yeah. Oh, and the clothes are quite good as well. Yeah, I love Aldi. Aldi's great. We're up to Fox. What are those rivets you are gluing? Says David Sanderson. They were made for me by my good friend Kenneth in Australia. They're just, and he basically, what he's got, he has a special rivet making tool, which I can't remember the name of it, but it's Australian. It's a model making, rivet making tool, and basically you just get a piece of plastic card, and it's like a little punch set. You little tap and punch, the punch and die set, and it's perfectly for punching out little tiny circles of plastic card that are just about the right size. So 0.25 and 0.5mm rivets. I would eventually get myself a rivet tool, but I think it's like 200 quid or 150 quid or something crazy. It's not a cheap tool. He's got one, so maybe some rivets because he's lovely. Aldi has a lot of decent stuff. I'm a coffee snob, so yeah, not going to happen. I love direct, but instant coffee. So I'm not exactly a snob, but at the same time, don't get the Aldi coffee. It's something something. Alclad, not Alclad. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's just not good. It's really not good. It's worse than like Nescafe Gold. Put it that way. It's not an experience your palate will forgive you for anytime soon. Right, so we have all the bits for the dude. Let us glue together the dude of gluing. Now the trick I do have here is that I want to be able to, let's just get these bits made first before we start talking about the bits I want to do. Let's just clean that off. There. I want to be able to, if I can, it'd be handy for me if I can have the Space Marine, the Tech Marine and the weapon all together. But because he's got one hand on one of the grips, the weapon, of course, needs to be mounted into the pintle, which goes here like this. That pops in there, but he's got a hand on a grip that needs to glue onto the weapon. So, of course, I can't glue the gun in, because if I glue the gun in like that, and suddenly his arm isn't lined up with the way the gun is, and the hand, yeah, it's going to look stupid. So I've got to kind of figure this out. What I might have to do is, if I glue him and the gun together, that might work, but it may make his chest hard to get to. But it might be doable. I don't know yet. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not convinced I can get this. Oh, yes, I can. That goes on the pintle like that. But his arm, you'll see in a second, his arm is going to be glued in place, and it attaches to the side of the gun because he's holding the trigger, and that glues in there. Now, for once, unlike the other things, he actually got a hole for the thing to glue into. So if I don't glue the gun, I can theoretically glue the arm onto the dude and then line up the gun. Maybe. But I need to make sure if I do glue him and the gun together, I can take him off again and still get to his chest to paint his chest details. So we need to do a bit of finagling here. So we'll get everything glued together first. Let us do this bit first before we overplan, folks. Gadget has parts if you have glue. Diddly bomb, diddly bomb, diddly bomb, diddly bomb, diddly bomb, diddly bomb. Okay, his torso glued-tated. Little bit of squish and squeeze. There's only, I think, 2 little places where I need to worry about sanding away a bead of glue, because most of this is hidden. A little bit there, glue in that little gap. Because where the armour is the soft undersuit, that's going to be a dark colour anyway, so you won't actually see any little tiny gaps. But where the armour is the actual armour plate, then, yeah, I want to do a little bit of squish to clean up later on. Now that is just going to sit in the turret there, like that. I think it just... I don't think it actually locks him. I think it just literally... How does it... What? Or does it come from underneath? It says from down from above. Doesn't seem to want to fit very well. Okay, it does just about fit. Not brilliantly. Does fit. Okay. Very tight fit. Okay. What I want to do now is bonds glued on. Bonds attachment time. I always like to have them looking to the left or right. I don't like them looking straight ahead because that's boring. I always like to have them looking a little bit left or right or something. Just makes life more interesting. His bonds on, even if he's playing the gun's pointing that way, he's just looking off to his left. He's scanning the horizon for targets. Now this arm sits up like that, but of course I need to make sure it sits up and rests on the gun. If it's just floating in midair, it'd look stupid, like he's in the middle of a comedy walk or something. So again, we need to get a bit tricky here. I put him in place there. Very weird fit. It almost doesn't fit. Again, it's like there's no... I don't understand how they want this to go in. They want to sink all the way down. Like that. In which case, that's a real pain to get in and out. Let's sand this down a bit. See, I'm going to glue it eventually, so I don't mind if it's a little bit loose. I don't want it to be a massively tight fit. Because I'm going to eventually glue him in place, but... Really easy to just do this, isn't it? I want to be able to easily remove him for painting. Meh. A little bit too much of a tight fit. I could chat in a minute. Goes on there. Made no real difference. Well, it was a little bit easier. Okay, a little tiny bit easier to get him in. Very, very tight fit. So he goes in there. And this arm will glue onto the gun, or attach onto the gun, once he's in place, like that. But we instantly have an issue there where that's going to be at a funny angle just by itself. If I put the arm into there, it doesn't line up with him. Now that any mismatch between his shoulder and his body will actually be covered by the... should be covered by... I shouldn't glue these aerials on. These aerials are right in the way. Yeah, I always hate when you have somebody firing a mounted weapon, because it never ends well. Because there's too many pieces you have to line up. And it's never... Can I actually... See, I'm going to struggle to paint some of the detail on the bottom of his armour. Unless... Tricky, tricky, tricky this is. If I glue the arm onto the weapon, I can't get him out. And I don't want to glue the arm onto him later, because I'll end up knackering the paint job. But at the same time, oops, ding. If I just glue the arm on to him first, it wouldn't line up with the weapon. That's very weird. How is this even going to... I don't want to glue his right arm on because I need to know where the weapon's going to be before I do that. How is this even going to work? Okay, that would sit like that. Hello, Mama Fox. I think what... no, because I can't glue the pauldron on afterwards. After painting. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Really lining up with the weapon, him very well. I've never had a good experience lining up somebody holding a weapon trigger and the weapon separately. I've never ever had a good experience with that. I'd much rather they just weren't holding the weapon. Okay, so that's... I've got to think how I'm going to paint him. I'm tempted just to glue it all in place and be damned and do my best to just paint him afterwards. You know. Really going to cut it though, is it? I could glue his arm in place and then somehow later on hope the gun is in the right place. Even then, that's asking for trouble. I had to take apart the bit propping the barrel up and did it all from there and then reposition that bit again. You mean the pintle? It's all glued in place now. I can't take anything apart basically, so yeah. Well, this is a bit of a dilemma. Dilemmations. I don't want to glue the arms on afterwards because that's going to mess up the paint job. I really don't want to be gluing arms on after you've painted everything. It never ends well. I turn him around a little bit. Rotate him as touch. That would help with the ping. That might help. It might not. I knew I should have done this off camera. Yeah. His arm's back there, which is nowhere near where his actual armpit is. I mean, that needs to fit that way. That can't be right. Because nothing ever lines up when you do it like that. You get these arms joined to weapons, it never lines up. I think I may just have to glue it all in place and do my best to paint it. I think I can glue his right arm on afterwards because that'll be minimum paint disruption. If I glue that bit together like it is now, I can still get access to most of him. Even though his arm might be glued on. I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to do this. Quick question from Wendy Hickson. Resin model Anubis bust, good choice. Can I use UMP primer or something else? No, UMP primer will be fine. Any primer will work on resin, it's absolutely no problem whatsoever. UMP primer will be fine. Also, Anubis, good choice. One of my tattoos is Anubis. Right, so I think I'm going to have to glue at least this much of him in place. I think I'm going to have no choice but to do that somehow. I don't quite know how. I need like 4 pairs of hands, unfortunately, but I don't actually, strangely enough, I don't have 4 pairs of hands. I know, go figure. So if I some of the fast setting glue on there and then somehow try to wrangle it all together. I'm probably going to regret this horribly. Okay. I've not glued his arm yet to his body. Wanting to glue his arm to the gun. That'll stay in place. Yes, huge success. Now apply some glue to the shoulder. The lucky thing is, of course, when I glue his arm to his torso, it doesn't matter if I make a bit of a mess with the glue, because there's going to be a pauldron on top of that, covering all that shizzle up. That is on. That's the first time I've ever got someone holding a weapon. No, it's still not actually technically straight. I'd say without any problems and looking straight, but it's not actually straight really. Near enough. There we go. I think it's close enough. But I can never get, especially when you get, like, you get Astra Militarum guys holding the bits for heavy bolters and stuff. I can never get any of it to line up decently. Like, his arm is not even partly lined up to his torso there. Not brilliant at all. I don't like that. That's not gone on well at all. I can't move him now. Can I? Or can I move him with cunning? Can I rotate him around a bit? No. Oh, I can honestly, truthfully say I've hated every minute of this particular model. I've not enjoyed this model at all. This model does not have one redeeming feature that ever makes me want to make it ever again. I can now honestly say I'll never make a Primaris Repulsor. I mean, that arm's just coming off now. Look at it, it's just garbage. I'm sorry, GW, but you've just shit the bed with this kit. You really have. It's just garbage. A few little bits here and there are okay, but most of it just ill-fitting nonsense. With vague connection points. Right, that's not better at all. Oh, look at that, just coming off now. Absolute nonsense. If I have to start doing commissions again, don't ever ask me to do a Primaris Repulsor, because you'll get a short, sharp answer. No. It's just falling apart now. I don't know if blowing on the thing actually helps at all with it being with the glue setting, but it feels like I'm doing something useful. I shall glue the weapon to the pintle. It glues the weapon to the pintle. It puts the pintle in the basket. We shall leave that alone. I'm not going to glue this arm on because I'm hoping it's going to fit. But when this arm gets glued on, I can just have a touch of glue and a touch of glue and it'll just lock into place perfectly, hopefully. But at least I can still get to the majority of the chest plate there and the bits on the chest and stuff to paint those details. Not ideal. Not really any enjoyment in that at all. Yeah, I won't be making another one of these. Or at least if I do, I think I'll be avoiding certain parts of it. Swig of water. A check of the chat. In regards to the guy on the gun, if you have spare bits that hold bolters, cut the bolter free in the hand off the trigger, then glue the piece in the manner that makes them fit right. That's a bit late now, but thank you for the advice. Fox, what? Oh, you've done that bit. That's ages ago. The whole thing doesn't line up convincingly. Nah. I had to take a put up on that one. Baldy Tommaso is in. Hello, Fox and all intents. Welcome, Paul. Hope you're feeling okay, dude. Model making mayhem is in. Welcome, mayhem. Cool. Right, let's see what we're doing now. Is this going to be set anywhere enough that I can test the other arm? I mean, it kind of fits now, just about, but it's not. I can't recommend this kit, unfortunately. Right, which pauldron? So the Mechanicus pauldron is his right arm, I think. Yes, the Mechanicus pauldron is his right arm. So his left arm should be the blank pauldron, which should theoretically just sit on like. Now the beauty of pauldrons is 99% of the times when you've not had an arm that doesn't fit very well, pauldron covers up all your sins. They really do. Whenever you've got an arm that you've lined up but it's not quite a surefire fit, you can just kind of get away with it because it'll cover up by the pauldron. Same with Imperial Guard. You've got Imperial Guardsmen and you've done a bit of a bodge on him or something, and his arm fits to the weapon but doesn't quite match up with the socket on his torso. Don't sweat it, because that little tiny pauldron they've got will cover it up nicely. Yeah, that does cover up any slight mismatch between his arm and his torso. Is now just hidden forever. No one will ever know, because it was never on the internet or anything, which is a good thing. It's a good thing I don't stream this, isn't it? Film it. Yeah. So there we go. So that's that bit on. Touch of that, just to lock it down. I would rather have not glued the guy in place at all, but there's no way for me to have him as a sub-assembly, sadly. There's no way that would have worked. Not in any way, shape or form. So this arm now would sit on like that and would rest on apparently nothing. Okay. That's weird. Apparently it doesn't rest on anything, it's just floating. Doesn't even. But that's not right. It shows him resting his arm on the gun. Have I got the pintle the wrong way round? Don't even say that. No, pintle. Oh, I know why. It's because I've not glued the handle on yet, you spoon. His arm was just kind of floating in midair. It's like, wait, what? That can't be right. Oh no, I haven't glued the handle on yet. Simpleton, Fox. You really are a simpleton sometimes. Get the tweezers of happiness. I'm like, the gun's like an inch too far forward. It's like, yeah, you haven't glued it on yet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My bad. My special. Somehow get this on there now. Somehow. Yeah, that fit on quite nicely. No hassle from that little puppy. That did its job. I think I'm so frustrated with this kit purely because it is a new thing. It's not an old kit. I kind of accept fit issues on old kits because they're old kits. Like the Space Marine bike, God help us. It goes together like a pig, but it's like 20 years old now or older. It's an old shonky design. These are all new and spanky and modern and designed on computer, and they shouldn't have problems like we're getting with this. It shouldn't have vague assembly attachment points. It shouldn't have things that don't go together very well. There's no excuse for it. Not when you're paying 30 odd quid. If I bought this, I'd be very unhappy right now. I mean, I have bought it, but I mean, if I bought it, you know, for full price. I think Fox is a bit perturbed. No, it's just the way I sit. Mayhem says, Muse, I have all the grace of a trackless tank. Fox's pintle is a bit wonky. You don't even talk about my pintle. Extra special Foxy, says Muse. Osric 9000's in. Welcome, Osric. Wonky pintle syndrome. Exactly. Fox is a bit wonky. Also, hello, says Modeler. I made a Land Raider and did the interior in a manner that has a full crew using lots of epoxy putty, says Vrailing. Yeah. I'm a painter, not a builder, as I say all the time. Which means if I need to do any lengthy modding like that, it's just not going to happen. I'm not that talented for that sort of shenanigans. Right, where's his arm gone? There it is. So now, God willing, not that is actually a thing, but it doesn't exist, but all good luck willing, his arm now actually rests on something and not just floats in mid-air, maybe, please. No, almost. I can push it forward a bit. No, I can wing it. I'll be able to cobble it together so it looks like a reasonably... I don't know. No, his arm is just going to be floating in mid-air still. Deep. Well, that's just garbage, isn't it? Absolute nonsense. I may have a spare Primaris arm from a different... I can just put it somewhere else, like a pointing arm or something. Give him a bolt pistol. I don't know. But even with that, his arm is still going to float in midair. Fantastic design there, Games Workshop. 1 out of 10. Nobody ever asked me to build this kit again. Don't ever ask me to build this kit again. That is absolute garbage. Doesn't fit. The arm doesn't fit. I don't have, I think, any other spare Primaris arms. I don't think. Arse. Well, that's just garbage, isn't it? Yeah, I'll have to have a look and see if I have any spare Primaris arms. I must have somewhere. Because that arm is just floating in space. Because you have to line up his torso, his arm, the gun, and now this arm. No. Too many things. And that's now just floating in space. I could have it just down, so it just looks like he's got his fist clenched halfway up. It looks a bit funny, but it's better than having it floating in midair, like his fist, he's bumping his own chest or something. Maybe he's got a bit of a cough and he's like going, oh, thumping his chest to clear a cough. Could be. Maybe he's got it up to his face because he's like rubbing his eyes. Maybe he's sleepy tired and he's rubbing his eyes. Could be. Maybe he's listening to see if his watch works. Mind you, isn't there a little screen on his hand? Is it supposed to be a little like display screen on his hand? Because if that's the case, I could get away with him having his hand up because he's looking at the little screen on the back of his hand. Huh. Somebody tell me on the Primaris Tech Marines, is it supposed to be a little display screen on the back of his hand there? Is it supposed to be a little screen? Somebody tell me that. If it is, I'll paint it as a little screen. I might just do that anyway. Paint it as a little screen, and therefore I don't care that it's up in the air because it looks like he's looking at his little screen. That is a good get around, I think. And what I can do is just glue that arm on later. That would work. That would work. Okay. All right. Where are we up to? Just make the arm point straight up like he's completely disgusted with Games Workshop's awful design of him. Could be. Use a spare Mark 8 armor arm and no one will notice. I don't think I've got one. That works, says Muse. Don't use Primaris. Doesn't his arm rest on the hatch? Oh, I forgot there's a hatch. That might work. It does show his arm resting on... His arm is supposed to rest on the grip, but I forgot about the hatch. That might be a saving point, because that'll make it like a Tamiya Russian tank, where there's always one guy, the guy sticking out the turret on a Russian tank in Tamiya kits is always like resting his arm on the hatch. Let's get the hatch parts off. And, in fact, what I can do, I could potentially get the pauldron on the arm now, but I can't because I don't know exactly which way around his arm's going to go. Let's not rush ahead just yet. Let's get the hatch pieces. Do 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 do. Yeah, I could have used the other arm where I was holding the other grip, the other gun grip, but this probably wouldn't fit either. 10 and 9 are the hatch pieces. 10 et 9. Well, piece number 10, let's find out. Part number 10. Let's see what we can do with part number 10. Cashier number 4, please. I don't know. It's better that I get this grumpiness out of the way when I'm trying to build this than you do. You guys spend 30 quid on this kit and discover it's nonsense. There you ping. Do. If I do build one of these again, it will not have the guy sticking out the turret. Rest assured. I know the workaround now to make sure there's no gap at the front. And I could probably get away. I'd probably accept it at that point. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Probably will have to make another one of these in the future at some point. Yeah. This was either an intern or a guy who has since left and was not happy, or just someone half-assed it and phoned it in. Because I've never come across a modern GW kit with so many fit issues. It's nonsense, my friend. Shameful it is. This would not please Akatosh. I've not got my sanding mat, you spoon. Always forget that. Sanding mat, sanding mat. So, if this is to go here like this, you see, it sits on there like. Not exactly clear where it sits, but it potentially could sit. Again, they don't give you any kind of hinge that it locks into, so having it open is not. You kind of have it fully open or a bit open, but not closed, but not half open, which is a bit nonsensical. But no, I think his arm's going to stick out too far for the hatch. I think. I can't hold both in place at the same time. I don't think the hatch will allow his arm. Well, I don't think his arm on there with a pauldron would allow the hatch to be anywhere near open. I think the hatch is either fully open or not, and that's your lot really. Also, the other hatch has to be open and resting on there, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I don't think he's going to. His arm won't be resting. I think I'm going to have him looking at a fictional little computer screen on his arm, I think. Let me have a look. Give me one. I'm going to have a look online. I'm going to go onto the internet now. I'm going to have a look at the Games Workshop thing for this Primaris nonsense. Workshop Primaris. I know the camera's going to wobble now. Let's have a look at the artwork. See if it shows a shot of the dude. If I'm lucky, he's got a little screen on his arm. Except this guy's got a waving arm. How have I not got the guy with the waving arm? That's weird. Okay, oh, it's an executioner, that's why. Hang on. Sorry for the wobbly camera. Primaris Repulsor. There we go. Watch him have both arms attached to the gun. Of course he will. Yes, they built him with both arms attached to the gun. Gimpatron. No help for the Klingon at all there. And they don't show that arm on that side. I can't see what's on the back of his. Oh. That's just annoying, that. I can't tell. I can't tell from the artwork. I've decided though, George, your Tech Marine has a little screen on the back of his hand there, and that's why his arm's going to be floating up in the middle of nowhere. I've decided. Yes, he does, says Railing. Oh, thank you, brilliant, good, nice one. You need some blue tack. Let's try. Stick his arm on. I have some blue tack. I have an endless supply of blue tack. It's never a true test with blue tack because, of course, the blue tack gets in the way. Makes things stick up more. But gives me a good way to do rough, very rough test fits. Very rough test fits, if I can coordinate all my fingers and thumbs. Fingers and thumbs. Yeah. Yeah, although he's looking the wrong way now, he's not actually looking at his wrist, because I didn't know that when I put it together, because idiot. Yes, it won't fit with the hatch there. It's not going to be a complementary fit, unfortunately. Okay, so I'll have to. Actually, you know what? I think I can glue that arm on, because I can get to his chest from the other side. I can get a brush in there for the. I'm going to glue that on. Consequences be damned. I'm going to glue it on with the glue and everything, because with that arm up, I'm pretty confident I can still get to his chest insignia. Although it's a very small Mechanicus symbol, it's going to be a nightmare to paint. It might just be gold, I think, on that insignia. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Move this out of the way. Yeah. Hey, welcome to my creative process. It involves swearing, grumpiness, and failure. It's the way foxes do. So we'll get this on. Do. I'm using the fat glue, of course. I've explained before. I always use the fat glue where it's something that I want to be able to hold its own weight. If I use extra thin, that would just fall off straight away. That can go on there. I can still access a little bit of the chest emblem, which is fine. But it kind of gets me out of, if you know the Mechanicus symbol, it's that kind of half black, half white skull, which would be trickier to paint on his chest because it's actually really soft detailed. But because it's mostly covered up with his fist, I can just paint it the one colour. The weasel ways work again. There's always a way out of these things. I need to tidy up that pauldron a little bit then. Put the lid back on that. A little bit of a file on the pauldron. Just a little bit, just to smooth off that little nub. Anyone would think that I didn't enjoy building Games Workshop from where I've kvetched about this, but like I said, if this was an old kit, like if this was like a 2003 moulding or an old 1990s kit or something, I wouldn't moan, I wouldn't kvetch as much, I wouldn't be complaining as much, because you expect issues with old ass kits because they're old ass kits. But for something that was released a couple of years ago or a year ago or something, using modern techniques and computer design, it's kind of inexcusable. It's a Revell level of incompetence, and that's pretty bad. Right, so that is on. Move it forward a little bit. I think that's on there. Cool, done. Pauldron attached. I can still, I think, get to everything. Awesome. Right, so that's him in. I can still probably get a fine brush in for most of the detail on his body. I can get to the undersuit on his elbow there. I can just about get to the undersuit part on his chest area and his sort of abdomen. Yeah, that's cool. I can get to all of that. Is no problem. Cool. So that's that bit done. Well, not finished yet, but done. Let's have a quick look at the chat. It's not like the GW sculptors have ever had a really good grasp on human proportions or anatomy. They sculpt like they heard of humans third hand, says Dan Kramer. Well, no, they're not supposed to be. It's heroic scale is the Games Workshop style. The men are the blokes are supposed to be like not normal human proportions, like the normal Imperial Guard. They're kind of like 1/35th, but stumpy. The heads are kind of around about 1/35th scale, so they're never meant to be realistic. But the Primaris are supposed to be a bit more humanly proportioned, even though they're really tall. Regular Space Marine kits before Primaris, they're kind of stupid. Little tiny torsos and stupid legs. Right, let's get the What else do I have to glue on? That might be it. Is that everything? Oh, well, that's kind of it now. I've just got to glue the hatches on. And then we're done. May actually have finished this with an hour to go. Huzzah! We've still got loads of bits left over. B3, look at all them greebles that I'm not going to end up using. Well, we've got some extra bits I can stick on, details and stuff. I can apply all those. I don't care if they're supposed to be on there or not. They're going to go on there. I need to add the hatches, so let's get the other hatch cover on. This one needs to go on this side like that, do you see? Like that, right there. Goes on there. Is no problem. Yeah, so they don't even give you any kind of hinge assembly for that. They just, you can have it all the way open or closed, and that's it. That's a lot. No multiple choice, no choice involved. There'll be enough glue there, is it? To that. To that. A touch of hope and prayer that it sticks in place. Yes. Yes. Excellent. Lots of people forget about hatch covers, but you kind of need them. Otherwise, it's just a hole in the top of the tank. And that would let the rain in, which would be rubbish. Where's my nipulons? Snippety snip. Give it a nip. There we go. Snip that off. Snip that off. Pating. Right, I'm trying to think of something to talk about. I say I've not really got anything I can tell you about news-wise because I've been telling you about it all week as we've been going along. So no real massive updates. How's the picture, guys? I'm trying a bitrate of 6,000 because I updated that a little bit for the game streams, and I'm seeing how it is. So let me know if it's working for you. Also, are we too bright, too dark? Let me know if it looks okay. Again, because I'm having issues with screen calibration, so it could be massively too bright or massively too dark for all I know. Apparently, I don't know. And then I realised when I was stressing about getting the screen calibrated, of course, because it wasn't calibrated, and I'm like, oh, I've been doing my videos wrong all this time. I forget, of course, that 99.9% of people buy a monitor or a telly and never bother doing anything with it. So 99% of people watching this will have had a poorly calibrated or not calibrated screen anyway. It doesn't actually make any difference, really. Now, is this hatch going to make it? Is this hatch going to go in place? Is it going to make it difficult for painting? Is it going to get in the way? Let's have a look and see. That's going to go in there like that. Is it going to get in my way? Glue that in. Is it even going to fit? Is the other question. I don't think it'll get in the way. I'm actually looking forward to painting it. I think that'll be fine. I think. Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll get in the way. Kind of rests on the whatever the hell that thing on the side, little missile launchery box type thing. Whatever that is, I do not know. Right, so that's the hatch covers. Down a hatch. So, I never glued that on. That needs to go on. For some reason I didn't glue the grenade box on. Oh, missile set. Why didn't I glue that one on? Maybe I don't know why I didn't glue it on. I need to glue it on because you need all the explosions and explosive weapons and stuff. If there isn't a square inch of this covered in some sort, well, if there's a square inch of this not covered in some sort of weaponry, that's probably a criminal offence. somewhere. The Imperium. There we go, that's that on. Don't know why I hadn't glued that on already. And I think now we've got nothing but greebles, I think, now, which are completely optional. So that's the lid. The hatches. Oh no! Well, there's more. Oh no, we haven't finished. We've got stuff to stick on. I thought we'd finished. We haven't. Oh, we have not finished. I'm just trying to make a comment appear, but my everything seems to not work. There we go. Picture and sound are good on my end, showing on the big TV, unless they're watching on the lappy or the devices. To quote Fox, chutney fudge bucket. Yeah. Spid's in. Hey, Spid. Nice on the picture. I also think my video is lagging behind current. People answered the question before it was asked. Language, Mayhem, language. The picture is fine, but you should not wear your ball gown while live streaming. I can see the reflection of your sequins on your bench. Oh, you mean that? You mean this thing? That kind of sparkly effect there, when my hand's not in the way. This kind of sparkly effect. It's actually my lenses. I've got LED lights above there, above me, like strips of LEDs, and they get kind of weirdly magnified. So when I put them like that, but when I put them down onto my glasses, if you'll see this, the camera's not really in the right place now, but they can kind of weird, quite pretty in its own way. I'll move my hand out of the way, do it that way. You get these kind of weird reflections. So when I'm up here, I don't know if you'll see this now, but you can see like this, my hand out of the way, you can see this kind of pattern here. There you go. It's quite pretty. I looked and I'm just a consequence noticing fool. Okay. I'm sure it's just his watch he's checking. I think my 1972 Airfix 172nd Saab Draken fit better than this kit. Darren says, yep. EC says, disco. Hey, EC Idaho. Yeah, I'm not impressed with this. Majority of it's alright. A few bits just a real pain in the bum. Not impressed for a modern kit that isn't Revell or Italeri. If it was a Revell or Italeri, I'd be like, yeah, that's about right. But given the fact it's neither of those, I think I can still get to most of that to paint it. I'm kind of thinking now, can I? Yeah, should be fine. Should be fine. Right, so we have some things to add. They are not numbered in any way, shape or form, but we can figure it out. That's 102. It shows you the parts numbered there and then just doesn't tell you which is which, but I think you can kind of figure it out. Fairly self-evident, I think. We hold these truths to be self-evident. So we need 93, 94, 95. 93, 94, 95. There's 94. Snip. Snip. I think if you made this with the turret closed and you remember to not put this bit in first before you built this bit, I think you'd be alright. Grumble about it, but I think you'd be alright. I think generally though, it's whenever you have somebody holding a two-handed weapon like that, it's always a recipe for disaster with these Games Workshop kits. There's always a bit of jiggery pokery to get it all lined up that never seems to work. Which is a shame, really. Because having someone manning the weapon is kind of cool, but at the same time, it's a pain in the arse. It looks great, but it's not worth the hassle sometimes. Which is why it's always worth having a stash of, you know, spare Space Marine or Imperial Guard arms just sitting around. Because you never know when they might come in handy. Hello, I'm being texted. Who'd be texting? Oh. My friend that dropped off the Stolen earlier on. I said, yeah, they've gone into quarantine for a few days. He said, yes, I'm quarantining myself with mine for 2 days for further processing, which means he's going to lock himself away and eat them all non-stop. Number is that 97. Okay, we have a choice. We have a choice. We can have this hatch here open or closed. I think closed. Oh, maybe not. I think. I try not to think, actually, to be perfectly honest. I think closed. I think closed would be best for that. Because inside you've got like the tip of a missile sticking up, but it just stops with the plastic square bit. That it's just going to look like a plastic square bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 of them, isn't it? Or the little greebles, short and fat. Apart from this one here, because there is that. There. This one that looks like some sort of coffee boiling system, of which I fully approve. I'm going to have to cut the sprue from around it because it's impossible to get the nippers between the piece and the sprue, which is kind of weird. Let's just take it off the sprue altogether. Oh, hello, don't know where that went. Take it off the sprue altogether first. Let's just snippetate it off. There you go. Any other bits of those? There's a little ammo box there, but that's just for one of the weapons. I'll be left with a load of spare bits of weaponry greebles, which is good. I think that's all the official greebles. We'll put that over there. Right, cleanup time. Well, I'm actually going to get these bits off the sprue first. Yeah, these are really quite tight against that. I couldn't quite get the nippers in. The other way around. Hence me taking it off the sprue first. Hello, Mama Fox. Right, there we go. So sprue. Time to do some cleanup. Clean up on R5. It's not exciting now, I'm afraid. Quick look at chat. Skill model muse is off. Later's all. Leon's car is talking in, I assume it's like Cthulhu type language. Revel all the time, but Italeri never had an issue, says Muse. It's a fair trade-off. He has to cookify shop. Yeah, I've made some Italeri kits. They're not bad. They're kind of, because some of them can be a bit rubbish. Well, it's time to get dressed as Daddy's being a lazy bum. I have to run to the shops. But then she says it's fair trade-off. He has to cookify shop. Okay, that makes sense. Hey Ray, Ray from Aquilina. Ray Aquilina from Malta's in. Hey Ray. Big problems with Revel and Artillery, my friend EC Idaho. Hey. Fox, what's the best Warhammer vehicle or mech kit you have built? Asks EC Idaho. I would be torn between. I've done an Imperial Knight, but I've got 2 more to do. I'd be torn between the Imperial Knight or the Stormwolf, the Space Wolves flyer, the Stormwolf, which was mint, great fun to build. I kind of really enjoyed the Stormwolf. It had a great little cockpit. The painting the canopy was good fun, and it was just overall it's a nice big square flat thing to paint and get lots of weathering on. So I think the Stormwolf has been my most funnest one. I actually built and painted it and filmed the whole thing in about a week and a half, which is quite good for me because normally it's about 6 weeks to build anything. That's the language. Zarlacoin, says Eon's car. And Vrailing is just typing things in, I assume Russian, in Cyrillic, that nobody can read. So I'd say the Stormwolf, with the Imperial Knight a close second. I've got a couple more Imperial Knights to build, actually. But then again, I've got some Orc vehicles to do yet, and I'm looking forward to doing them, so they may supersede the Stormwolf. Cool, thanks Fox. Stormwolf, thinking of building something Warhammer. If you want the easiest thing to paint is the Imperial Knight. It's an super easy build, and it's actually great fun to paint. Dead easy. But Stormwolf's really, if you like aircraft, Stormwolf's a stupid aircraft, but it's still great fun. Railing says, I speak Russian. Yes, we kind of gathered that by the Russian typed. Cool. I like the sound of Russian. 1 second, folks. That'll be the front door. And we're back. Sorry about that. It was the delivery at the front door. And of course it has to go into quarantine, so I had to go and put it into quarantine. All done. So where were we? Yes, what we're talking about? Got no idea. Up to... yes, so yeah. If you've never done a Warhammer before, I'd say Imperial Knight is an easier build than the Stormwolf. And it's an easier paint job. And it might get you into it, but it's a bit more costly. Stormwolf's about 40 quid. I think Imperial Knight's like 90, so maybe go for the Stormwolf. There are other kits are available, of course. What I would say is if you've got a local Warhammer store or store that sells Warhammer stuff and you want to have a think about doing a Warhammer, just go in and have a look and see which one makes you look. Have a look at all the stuff on the shelf and be like, I like the look of that one. Whichever one tickles your fancy the most and looks cool to you, get that one. Right, clean up time. Where's my light? There it is. Yeah, that might be another option if you can, or just go online and have a look through the selection and just see whichever one appeals to you visually. Because there's no point building something you may not have an interest in building. If you're not familiar with a genre or whatever of models, just browse through. And the first one that goes, oh, I like the look of that. There you go, done. You'll have a vested interest then, because if you like the look of it to start with, it's a good foundation to work from. It's like when people say, what Gundam should I build? I've never built the Gunpla. What Gunpla should I do? Well, just browse through and see which one you think looks cool. Take it from there. Just don't build Space Marine bikes. Pieces cleaned up. And we'll get them sanded. Attached to the device. Now, I'm not sure what happens when we've done this, because all that's left in my big box of Warhammer Conquest stuff, I think, is a few scenery pieces, which are boring to build. And then the Space Marine bikes, which I'm not going to build on the live stream. They'll just get done. I'm not doing them anytime soon. They'll get left right to the end. Like, I might wait till I've built and painted everything else, basically. And as a last resort, like, oh, if I must. As a last resort, get the bikes built. I'll be very grumpy when I do it. That could be a year away. Who knows? I might just, get the scenery pieces finished in the next few days or something. So I don't know what we'll be doing next week. To be perfectly honest, I might do the scenery pieces. We'll see. I'll have a look through the box and see what's left. But I'm not 100% sure. Oh, there's a number out there. Oh, it's a pain in the bum. Yeah. It may well be, though, if that is all the Conquest stuff done, that I just start going through my stash. And what I'm probably going to do is make Warhammer Sunday the place where I do all the building, basically. Because obviously there'll be things I build that I then want to video the paintings process. I'll do build series on various Warhammer kits. But I don't necessarily want to show them building them all the time. I might start moving away from, you know, a build series including the build part. Because nobody really needs to show you how to make a model. Unless it requires a lot of custom work. You just follow the instructions. So it may well be that I use the Sunday shows to, in advance, build kits up that I then go ahead and film the paint job. Because painting on a live stream is kind of really hard. For me, anyway. Because when I'm doing painting, I have old man eyes, and I kind of need to get up close and personal. And doing it on a live stream, it's not as easy. And I'm not really teaching anything when I'm doing a painting on a live. I'm not really teaching you how to do it because I've got to be conscious and aware that I'm on a live stream. So, not ideal, really. We'll see. I don't know yet. We'll see. It's not like, the other thing, of course, is it's not like I can build a model and paint it on the live stream and then just build another one and paint again do it for a pre-recorded series. Because once I've built and painted something, I'm really keen to build another one and paint another one. Once you've done one, you don't want to do another one, really. Unless it's, you know, part of your army or something. You've got to paint lots. So I'm not really fully decided yet. It might just be we get stuff built up. I've got a few orc vehicles to do. I've got my Valkyrie. I've got a Hydra. I've got my Forge World, Malkador, and my Macarius Vanquisher. Them to do. I've got a few other bits and bobs. I've got some Stormcast Eternals from Fluffy Guts that she sent me ages ago from Lindsay. I've got my Grey Knights build. No, my Silver Templars even. All kinds of bits and bobs I've got to crack on with. Plenty for me to build. Got my Baneblade. Oh, got my Baneblade as well. That's a point. Yeah. That'd be one that I maybe just get built up on the live streams, but then film the actual painting properly. Some tricky decisions. But it's easier for me on the live streams, because the live streams is more about just hanging out and having a good time. And me having people to talk to while I'm working, so it's better for me, I think, if I can just keep the live streams as building. Because if I do play live streams where I'm painting, I'm not really going to be interacting with chat that much. And I don't want to do that. I see far too many live streams where it's just somebody painting and they don't interact with their chat at all. Or hardly at all. And frustratingly, they make money while they're doing it, especially ones on Twitch. Like, they're sitting there and they're not talking to anybody, they're just sitting there and they've got music in the background and people are just throwing money at them on Twitch chat, and it's like, and yet here's me interacting with you guys, kind of trying to make you part of the process. You know, you're interacting with me while I'm doing it. So I can do that while I'm building, because building's fairly nonsensical and, you know, no brain function required, but well, not as much. But painting's more tricky. And also with my camera on this side, which I'm stuck with at the moment, when I'm painting, all you're going to see is the back of my hand anyway, so not really conducive to good viewing. So we'll probably just keep Warhammer Sundays building. We'll see. We'll see. I think if I was a younger man with better eyesight and I could have my head distance away and paint like that, it would probably be quite easy to stream painting. But because I'm an old man and I need to paint like this, and I'll be like this. Oh, painting a thing now and you can't see it. Nah, that's not going to be fun, is it? I don't know why I went all kind of London accent then. I'm not really sure about that. So yes, I've got some Orc vehicles to do. I've got my Malcador Infernus and my Macarius Vanquisher. Although with those two, because they're Forge World, I probably will film the build portion of it, just because it's resin and they're Forge World and it's kind of cool. At least for one of them. Plastic kits. I think for plastic kits going forward, especially, well, at least for Warhammer going forward, I don't really need to show the build part of it. I might start moving towards this, just the painting. Episode 1. Here's the model. Let's get it painted. So this it's a lot of work for something that probably nobody's going to watch. People know what they're doing on that bit anyway. I'm going to use some glue to smooth off this plastic. A bit rough. Yeah, there's a trade-off. People don't really want to sit and watch me build something on a pre-recorded video. Live stream, you've got chat to keep you busy, but something like a pre-recorded video, you don't need to watch me build something really. What's chat doing? People talking about Cthulhu Rising at the end of this year because it's the way the year is going pretty much. I'm just waiting for the either the coronal mass ejection or the massive asteroid impact. It's bound to happen this year because it's kind of all that's left really. Ooh, burpage, do apologise. If you notice me burping more lately, by the way, I've always tried to resist it because it's rude on telly, but you know what? I just burp now, it's funny. Baneblade, says the Onscart, yes. This weekend has a 50% chance of showers with the possibility of eldritch abominations. If that comes in, it will raise the chance for murder hornets and plague bears. Oh god, not plague. You said plague bears, now it's going to happen. Warp Spider, it's the Baneblade. Brother, I am pinned here. Famous Captain Diomedes quotes. People are talking about the chat in my stream today is just kind of. I've not really had much involvement in my stream chat today. It's just carried on without me. I love it. I love the fact that the chat can just motor on about some random crap and I don't know what they're talking about. And you guys are just happy talking amongst yourselves. I love it. How many people have got watching? 35. Remember, folks, if you are watching this and you're not taking part in the live chat, please do. You don't have to. You're not absolutely required to at all. But it's a good bunch of folks in chat. It's a nice place. It's a safe place in there. Nobody nasty in chat. There are mods in there that will kick you out anyway. Well, kick not you out, but if any bad people come into chat, mods will kick them out, or I will. It's a safe place. You can have a good laugh. Because what I'm doing here doesn't really matter. People don't come to my stream to watch me do things. They come to my stream to just listen to me waffle and complain about something. And talk to their mates. They don't really care what I'm doing. I could just be sat here moving a piece of plastic from left to right. I could be like Ted. I could just move a glass of alcohol from that side to that side, back and forth. And if I did just that, people would still be happy, I think. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what I'm doing. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. This would be easy to clean up other than the spiky bits that are just getting in the way. Which are most frustrating. Smooth, that looks fairly smooth. There's a certain point at which you kind of get to learn what roughness will be seen through primer and what won't. I think we're fairly safe with these. Fairly stable. Diddly bomb, diddly bomb, diddly bomb. It's 2. Yes, I might need to film the actual Forge World tanks, just because they are Forge World. So, and it's resin. Resin's a bit different. Like a plastic kit, I can say, right, here's the kit, we've got it primed, let's go. You don't need to show assembling it because you've got an instruction sheet that tells you exactly how to assemble it, and it's fairly straightforward. Like I say, it might be that I say I pre-assembled it, but here are some things you need to watch for. If I know the build is a tricky one, I might just film the bits that are tricky if people need to know. But if it's a straightforward build, pre-build it. Get it primed and ready. It's like the tabletop trauma center, the Lehman Russ, which is here. Yes. The only reason the next episode, the first episode, second episode even, will be how to paint it. I haven't shown how to prime it, but the only reason the first episode was building was because, of course, I've got to show what I've done to fix it and customize it, and that's why you had that episode where I was doing some work on it. Ordinarily, I'd just strip the paint off, and then the next episode would be painting it. It wouldn't show any building stuff. I wanted to add some stuff to it and mod it a little bit, so fix some gaps and stuff, so I had to show that, really. Because I suddenly realised, you know, I always say I'm a painter, not a builder, but I always try and make my series include building and painting, and I'm sort of like, well, I'm not anyone to teach anyone how to build, because I hate building and I'm rubbish at it. All I do is follow the instructions, because anything more than that scares me off. So it seems a bit pointless me trying to show, here's how to build this model if you want to build it exactly as the instructions say, with no extra effort. It's a waste of an hour's video, waste of your time to watch it, and it's, you know, considering it might take me a week to do one episode of building, it's a waste of that week when I could have used that to do painting. Because you have to remember, whenever you film a build, when I film a build, you know, what for you is one 45-minute episode, for me is a week's worth of work. And if you take a model that might take you 3 days to build and paint, in reality, in normal life, if you're filming it, that could be 2 or 3 weeks' work. Everything takes longer when you're filming it. So, that's the wrong one. So, filming the build part, if it's not absolutely necessary, there's no point in me wasting that time when I can be better used. If I can get it built and put together and primed in a couple of days, and then do some filming of the painting, that's much better. Much better for you guys, because then you get some content. And because the build takes me a long time, because I'm not very good at it, it's also very easy for me to get bored during the building process, or disheartened if things don't go quite right, and then that puts me off, and that makes me stop filming, especially if the filming is making it last longer as well. It's quite tricky. I never get bored of the painting process, but I do get bored of the building process, and if that happens when I'm in the middle of a filming project, that project can just stop dead for like a week or more, and that's never good. If I can avoid that by just sitting down and building it, not having to film at the same time, it makes everybody much better placed to get some content. Little mould lines on these boxes. We don't need no stinking boxes, senor. I shall have a look at chat in a moment. 5:15. Holy moly. Time goes fast when you're doing these streams, I'll tell you that. Standing on the footplate there and back again. That should... Got a bit of a seam line on there. A little bit of a mould line in this little tighty whitey corner. Go. I think that's pretty good now. Pull it up to the light so I can see. Ooh, no, a little bit there. What looks rough can sometimes be perfectly smooth, and what looks smooth can be rough as a badger's arse and need further work. Never assume. We've said this before. If you assume, it just makes an ass of you and me. Okay. Line down the middle. It's always frustrating, these kind of storage boxes, because they have all this detail on the top and it's not a flat surface. And you've got to spend ages getting all these mould lines off. It's like, oh, you git. I can't get rid of the mould line in the middle there because it's just too damn small. Too damn small. Oh, maybe not. Let's have a go. If I carefully scrape with the knife blade of Stabities, it's not a subtle little mould line, it's quite a hefty mould line. It's like a little step, which you'd normally just file away. But because it's in a recess, of course, it's not that simple. I think that's got it fixed. Finger moisture to clear away the dust. Dust. Anybody? No. Dust. Anybody? No. Okay, a little bit of extra thin just to smooth off any rough edges from that sanding and scraping. You'll often see me do that when I've used a knife to sand, just to smooth off the edges, because it does leave little scratchy scrape marks. And where does this actually go? This goes on there, in a random location. Okay. I was just debating whether to get rid of the mould line on the bottom, but you're not actually going to see that very well at all, and it being shadow, so I don't need to worry about that so much. This one here. Have a quick lookety look at that. Oh, scratchy. Itchy nose there for a moment. Yeah, so I think we'll keep Warhammer Sundays as a building thing. Because it just gives me more chance to interact with you guys. More fun for me for a start, and it just gives me more chance to interact. I'm not completely sidetracked. I know I did the painting of the Chimera when I was streaming at the same time, and it went okay, but it's not the best paint job in the world that I gave it in the end, which is a shame because the model was a gift from Dad and the guys. So because I was distracted doing the stream, and it kind of makes things a bit more challenging, difficult. It's not the best paint job in the world. And of course I'll be wanting to do things like airbrushing and stuff as well, which I can't really do on a live stream. So, well, it's not that I can't really do it, it's that I can't do it on a live stream. The microphone is right in front of the spray booth, which is why I try not to ever use the spray booth on a live stream. Although I'm going to have to for the eModels Christmas live stream, because I've promised not to pre-build or pre-assemble my kit. Now, that's where it gets challenging, because you watch the guys, they get their we're all making little chibi kits, and Chris and Ted and Colin, they'll get their little chibi kit and they'll get it out the box and they'll build it and they'll paint it, and by the time the show's finished, it's at the end of 4 hours. I've just got most of the stuff done on mine and mostly painted. Safe to say, a figure in the turret. Hello. And they've got theirs completely finished, but they've airbrushed theirs and I've been brush painting mine. And airbrushing is a lot faster. Ooh, excuse me, burpage. So this year I've said I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to pre-prime or pre-assemble anything, which means I'll have to use the airbrush to make sure that I haven't just by the end of 4 hours just assembled it. I mean, you see how slow I am. I'll have to cut some corners and I'll have to use the airbrush, but I'm not figured out how yet because, like I say, the microphone's here and the spray booth's there behind it. The microphone kind of rests on the side of the spray booth, or rather the microphone arm mount. So, yeah, not quite figured that out yet. There's nowhere else I can mount the microphone, sadly, because it's the closest I can get the microphone to right in front of me. I have to do some thinking. I might have to just spray on the desk. I've got to turn this. I mean, I'll turn the microphone off when I spray. So, yeah, it's not going to be ideal. But we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Don't worry. Hopefully, if I use the airbrush, I might actually get it painted up. If I can get it assembled and quickly done, maybe cut a few corners here and there with some sanding, then I might actually get it done and painted. I'm doing a Churchill tank. And I may have to get creative with the colour scheme. I mean, I can do fast airbrushing if I need to. Although I'll be sitting there. The problem for me is I'll be doing fast airbrushing, but I'll be sitting there with like my OCD gland going bananas because I'll have to like do some spraying and quickly blast some cleaner through the airbrush and then put it to the side and not immediately strip it down when I finish spraying and clean it out. Because when I do airbrushing, the moment I've finished all the airbrushing for the day, I strip it down, I clean it out, and I put it away. I can't just leave my airbrush there for another 2 hours with paint residue and stuff. I can't. Oh, no. It's going to be torture for me. Paint a few colours and it'll be like 2 hours to go and I've got to sit there with my airbrush. Because I can't afford to spend half an hour cleaning my airbrush out in a live show where I've got 4 hours to build and paint a model. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We shall see how much I get done. Probably not everything. I say to you now, I won't get it finished, I don't think. Depends. If I could do if I do a camouflage scheme, that'll take longer. But if I decide to make my little Churchill tank a deathcore tank, perhaps, maybe, then I could do it all grey. That'll be a bit of a get out, wouldn't it? It'll work though. I need to have a look online and see if I can find a cheap deathcore tank commander. Unfortunately, I've got a tank commander. I've got a Forge-World tank commander set with a driver and a commander, but that's for my Macarius Vanquisher. And unfortunately, the only tank commander I've seen on eBay was 18 quid for the one figure, because Forge-World figures are not cheap, even old, badly painted ones that you have to strip down. So I'm currently searching for a deathcore type dude. If I can't find one, I can't find one. It doesn't really matter. I would have to get him pre-painted and, you know, sorted out before the show. Because normally what I've done in the past is I've done the tank and painted it, and then later on gone back and added the figure. But for that one, I think I'll probably get the figure first. Because if I can get a Deathcore tank commander, then I'll do a Deathcore tank. If I can't, probably won't bother. Because it'll just look like a German World War II tank. It'll look like a captured Churchill tank that's been repainted by the Germans, because it'll be like German grey, field grey, so it won't really work. Or I'll just do a normal typical British Churchill standard colour scheme, but that's kind of boring because people know I like to Warhammer my things up. So there's the Mong World War II canks. They do look great as Warhammer vehicles. They just work perfectly as silly Warhammer tanks. Get yourself a Canadian Canadian. I just said Canadian, didn't I? Get yourself a Cadian sergeant, you know, with waving his sword around. If you can kit bash the top half, upper torso, arms and head of a Cadian sergeant, perhaps waving a chainsword, and kit bash that with the lower half, the hips and top of the legs and the cupola area from a Lehman Russ tank driver. So you've got the bottom half is the bit that goes into the turret, and the top half is a Cadian sergeant. You can stick him in the top of a Mon Toon tank and it looks fantastic. It's not 1/35th, obviously, and neither is the Warhammer figure, but they kind of work together. They look silly, but it just kind of works. The dude looks about the right size to be sticking out the turret of a Mon Toon tank. Great. little tiny bit of a seam line on there that I can't quite get off. But it may just be a colour rather than a... Remember I was saying before about sometimes it's just a stressed plastic and it's not actually a raised area. It's a little white line, but it may just be dressing on the plastic and not actual a raised line. Yeah. In reality, of course, what will happen is we'll start the clock, we'll have a 4-hour stream, and at the end of 4 hours I'll have just about finished assembling everything because I'm that slow. But then the best bit is I'll save it then for the next year, for 2021 Christmas. I'll be like, next year I'm going to finish this. What are you doing this year, Fox? I'm going to paint the tank that I built last year. And then I will have 4 hours to... I never thought of that, you see. I could stretch it. I could stretch it out for 4 hours with the building, and that would give me a great excuse the next year to not have to do any building. Oh, I just said all that out loud, didn't I? Oh well. Inner voice, Fox, inside voice. Yeah, then the next year I'd just have... You will jump then when I did that, didn't you? The next year I'd just have to paint the tank that I made the year before. Yay! And I could brush paint it and take my time. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would do that. I would do that. Oh, look, I've just finished building it after 4 hours. I'll just have to leave it till next year. Never mind, moving on. See you in the new year. Bye. Yes, I would do that. You know I would. I've got a degree in weaseling. There isn't a situation on earth that I can't weasel my way out of somehow and still come out smelling of roses. That's why I never become a politician. You wouldn't want me to be a politician. Right, I think that's that just about cleaned up. Very fine little mould line right down the middle of this little sort of what looks like a gas bottle, a gas canister of some sort. Very fine little mould line, really quite delicate. But it's also quite hard to get to. So I'm just very carefully scraping it away, as carefully as I can. I don't want to lose that. There's some very fine details on this, like little sort of raised strip around the centre. I don't want to lose that detail, so delicately as I can. There we go. There we go. Diddly bomb, diddly bomb, diddly bomb. That'll be fine. Quick look at the chat. So, building Sunday, says Eon's car. You never know. Well, I mean, we've been doing it for the last year with this stuff, so. Good, I like Warhammer Sunday building, says Candygram. Yay. I bet you 25 you can't loudly shout in the Peter file. Oh, okay. I just read that, yes. Christmas. Looking forward to Christmas live kit build show. Chris says, not going to cheat this year. At last he admits to cheating before. No. Saying I'm not going to cheat this year is simply saying this year I will do nothing that could be considered cheating. It's not an admission that previous years were cheating. Planning ahead and preemptive building is not cheating, it's tactics. It's purely tactics. A Canadian sergeant painted in Canadian flesh tone. I challenge you to walk into your local Warhammer store and ask him for a pot of Canadian fleshlight. Yeah. Can I have a pot of Labia mermaids and some Canadian fleshlight, please? Mushroom, says Mayhem. I'm eyeing a chibi kit to build myself, says Damn. Those Mon kits, they are really great fun. They're dead simple. Oh God, I want to take a nap now that I've eaten, but I also want to keep watching the stream, says it's Railing. Well, we're going to finish soon, so don't worry too much. No, we would make you stay after school to finish, says Chris. I think not. How exactly do we Canadians differ in colour from other countries? I think your colouring is more apologetic. Chris, do you think your internet is good for your stream later today? Oh yes, don't forget Pokes, by the way. Of course, when I finish here shortly, Chris will of course be doing, well, hopefully, we'll be doing a stream tonight. His Warhammer Sunday, because he has his Sunday stream. His internet's been all up the spout the last few days, which is why he hasn't streamed. And Ted did his Baneblade last week, so it's Chris's turn this week. So, assuming Chris's internet is alright, and he's doing a stream, do tune into Warhammer Sunday on Gross Models channel. The state of this. Gross Models. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tonight, Chris? Or 8:30? 8 o'clock, isn't it? I've got confused now with Ted starting his at 8:30 and 9 o'clock. It's just, I never remember anything now. Yes, on Chris's Gross Models channel. Unless in chat he's just said that he's not doing it. In which case, Fudge Knuckles and Spam Tackle on. Right, that's that bit cleaned. Let me now proceed with the gluing. Internet is fine, but the PC is playing up. I'm neck deep in sorting it out, says Chris at Gross Models. Right, so we need to glue these bits on the side. Oh, nice bit on the side. Oh, matron. Oh, yes, matron. Right, so we need, for this side, we are requiring of, we need the big Dobba-Doody here, which needs to have a lid put on it. We need the little Dobba-Doody here. What do we need? If I look at the instructions, that might tell me the ones I need, Fox. This is a handy little tip. That one, and that one. So foist things foist. Apply the lid. Sealing. This is like a little missile pod, I think. But yes, unfortunately the missile inside, it looks a bit pants. It's the very tip of the missile, but then a flat plastic plate, and it doesn't look like really anything of any good. If they gave you the whole missile, that'd be kind of cool. No, so we won't be doing that. And then these need to go on in a random designation of shapes, it would seem. Do I need to take account of the grav plating here, or can I just basically
slap it on?
Thinking I can just basically
slap it on.
But I don't know. I don't want to go and
slap it on
if I'm not supposed to. I think I broke Ted then.
Slap it on.
Oh no, Ted's still working. So let's locate our grav plachelons just to double check. Gentlemen, pull your crap out. Right. Need to find the back plates. Gentlemen, show me your back plates. You were, matron. I need that one there. I think these are back plates. I think. I could be wrong. I could be right. Well, it's the one I need. Oh, can you find it? There we go. That's another one. There. I think they're the back plates. That doesn't seem correct. That doesn't seem to be the right plates. Maybe. Why is one bigger than the other one and taller? Make no assumptions. Diddly bomb, that's that one there, which is the same size. I'm assuming these two are going to be the different size as well. That one's bigger. That one is the same size. So these three are all the same size. Buy a cap. Oh, okay, I see. That one should be that one's bigger. This is where I discover I've made a right mess up of the grav plating or something now. Okay, that's weird. There's two grav plates that are big, 2 and 3 that are small. Oh, because these go on the back there, don't they? These go on there, I think. Yes. So I need 4 that are small, not 3 that are small. I'm confused now. This is where it all goes horribly wrong. So that's going to be a big one. That's too big. That one's too big, so that's for the front part. I've lost track now. I very much fear I may have boobed somewhere. I know, me make a mistake, never. Oh, what's that one? Ah! Aha, there was one over there, yes. Fantastic. Okay, there we go. Right, so these 2 are for the front. So I shall mark on these 2 that they are for that. I'll just double check that they are the ones. That one's the right size. Right, that there. That there. That one is the same size. These 2 should be too big. That one's too big. That's too, right, so I'm going to mark these 2 as front. So I know. I'm going to put FR on these, and then what I'll do is I'll completely forget what FR means. Get a smaller pen. Of course, I'll do this and then I'll prime over it anyway, so it's kind of almost pointless. FR. F. I know you're not seeing this on camera, are you? FR. I'm writing FR on them. I don't, like I say, I don't know why, because I'll prime these and they'll just vanish. Because otherwise I'll forget. It doesn't really matter, but I'll put those over there, in there like that. Right. So these can all go back in there. Happy times. Get back in your box. There you go, ladies. In your box, there you go. So what I need to do now is assemblate these. I just want to put these on loosely, just so I make sure I don't get them. Mind you, they don't go up that far, do they? They don't go above that line, so as long as nothing comes below that line, which is weird that there's these gaps here that look like something should go on top, but apparently nothing does. Okay, so there we go. I need to not go below that line. Right, that's fine. I can put them away again now then. So in that case, we need to put that there like that, you see? Yes. That can go. I think this is just kind of random line it up time now, basically. What do you want now? The big one at the bottom and those 2 at the top. So that one there. Am I on camera? Probably not. That one goes on there like that. These 2 like goes there. That one goes there. You see, like that. You see, lovely, lovely, delightful. Okay, so it's completely random. Right, let's just get these things glued on, shall we? Let's glue it on. I'm going to hold it roughly in place and touch. That will scoop the glue underneath. Scoot the glute, as you say. Or they might say, they might not say. They could say if they wanted to. Kind of not exactly in the right place, but it doesn't matter. It's made up space nonsense. It doesn't actually matter exactly where it goes, really. As long as it's loosely in the right place. Then we need this little fellow here, like that. You see? Get next to it. Diddly bomb at diddly bomb. Sorry. Contact points on that, really. It's kind of a bit limited. That can go there. Right, time to make a start on dinner. See you next time, folks. Gets on the repaired motorcycle and drives off. Take care of Eon's car. Thanks for coming in. The whole dude in less than one live stream. What is happening? He has the dude glued together. He doesn't like how crappy it goes together, says Paul. Ted has arrived with Sage. What? So Fox hasn't glued the arm on yet. I've done the whole dude. The whole dude is done. I didn't like it. It wasn't fun. I almost did swearing. Mind you, I did swearing before, but yeah, I almost did more swearing. Let's just say. Let's leave it at that. Right, so this can go on half with a touch and a snitch, and there you go. A little bit of glue just to start it off. him down underneath. Need a couple of little contact points on this fella, so get him roughly in place, loosely in place. Have to be perfect. Well, it does because it's for George, but it doesn't have to be like exactly like it says in the diagram where exactly that place, because it's made up nonsense. As long as it's loosely somewhere on the side of the vehicle, I think will be good. Make sure they're straight, looking straight to me. This one goes there. Making sure all aquili are straight up. Straight up, governor. I will, of course, line up these little strips. Go down a bit, I think, that one. There we go, it's better. Because I moved him. A bit of cleanup after to do there because I slid him down. It's gone a bit smushy. I suddenly realised the other one was gonna. I want to get the little attachment strap things to line up, but then the other one will be too high up then. So best we avoid such nonsense. Good to have at least some symmetry, some things lining up. It just makes kind of more sense a little bit then. Like if you place them on randomly, then it would look fine, but it makes more sense if these two sort of straps are just kind of on the vehicle. They'd just be maybe generic attachment points. So what would be in them would vary, but different boxes and storage areas, obviously. But the straps themselves will be in the same place. So those two little racks there lined up together. We wanna be together. Then we have to hope and pray, of course, that this one still fits. And it does, miraculously. Mein God, it still fits. How did this even happen? How did Fox manage to line something up so it worked? I don't know. Don't jinx it. Not like I planned anything. And this one here can be lined up sort of in the middle of those two. It needs to be superbly perfect. As long as it just has some sort of common sense layout, we're fine. Apologies if all you can see right now back at my hand. There we go. That's them's attached. Happy days, happy times. That's them on. Other side now, where we have yoink, yoink, doink, and badoink. Quick look at the chat. Now the turret gun is only there from the waist up. Boxes rather vociferous on the fit issues, absolutely. Make sure it's straight, unlike a Lehman Russ. Oh yeah. Explosions, says Paul Tomasa. Always explosions. Oh, hello, morning, Vicar. Oh yeah, burps. Herring again. Oh yes, sweet. What's it called? Sweet cure herring. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so like this one here looks. The top of it is a little taller and higher up than the top of that one, but these two mounting racks or whatever are lined up, and that works with me. That works to my mind. That does. There we go. Perfect. Right, this side we need spectacles, testicles, wallet. I mean, barrel thing. Okay. So that one, that one. So we have on this side, we have coffee flask. Pointy religious nonsense. It's actually not. It's probably to do with the machine spirit, I would suspect. Big pack lunchbox. Looks like a bento. It's like a giant bento box. And this thing. This box of miniature. I don't know. This RX-78-2 backpack. It looks like. So again, on these two, I want to make sure this webbing here, this rack, is lined up with that rack. So I'm going to glue this barrel thing on first. in a rough position. Just roughly. Get it to stick down. And then I can do the big boy on here. Generous blob of glue so it doesn't all flash off. Spong him down there. Make sure it's all lined up. That barrel isn't straight. I know you can't see this because it's at the wrong angle for you guys, but that looks about lined up. Yes, that reference to not wonky like the Lehman Russ. The Lehman Russ I'm working on for Tabletop Trauma Centre. Whoever built it has excelled at gluing on everything not straight. So the sponsons are at a funky angle. The little hatches on the sides are at a funky angle. Nothing's lined up at all on it. It's like, how do you get a hatch on the side and not line it up straight? It's not that hard. There you go. That's those two on and lined up nicely. Nicely. Yeah. And then these two, doesn't matter if these two are lined up in some way because they're not actually cogent like that. Now this is going to stick down a little bit below the top there. I don't think it's going to get in the way of the gravitulations. Let's just double check. If it does, we're a bit screwed, but never mind. Moving on. Should be fine. Like a little bit of scroll work just hanging. Ah, it should be fine. That'll be fine. That'll be no problem. Right, so that needs to go on there, like that. You see? I'll line it up central with the bottle on top. There is a certain degree of OCD kicking in here that things have to line up in some way or other. Again, most people would just glue these on by now and moved on to the next bit. But no, I'm lining them up really carefully. That goes on there. Like that. And then this puppy, this backpack, RX-7082 Mega Backpack, goes there like that. And we'll line that up with the top one. Splub some glue on the back. They need two little tiny attachment points on this, which is garbage. And I'm guessing the reason these are like free-form, glue it where you think is right and not here are some attachment points, I'm guessing, is because there'll be variants of this where these aren't used. There might be different versions of this where this might have a sponson on the side or something else, and they can't really. If they put loads of holes in and tabs for things to go on, of course it looks rubbish then because you've got all these bits sticking out that aren't going to be used. So I understand that. It's just more free-form nonsense though. If they were just like, if these were just like optional greebles, that'd be fine. But they're kind of in the instructions to add them on. So, yes. Right, that's that side done. Nice and lined. Just double check it's lined up. It looks fairly lined up, I think. Yeah, this is all food. That's the coffee, and that's the big massive bento box. This is, I don't know. This is ice cream making. This is where you get your ice cream and your McFlurries and stuff. Right, so that's them glued on, and on that side as well. Quick look at chat. I just realised we both use the same plastic cement. Makes sense why, relatively cheap and decent quality. That's because extra thin is the best cement. Tamiya, you want extra thin. You want extra thin, fast setting, and you want regular Tamiya fat cement for load bearing stuff. The only other glue I use is Plastic Magic, which works on non-polystyrene plastics. I do use super glue as well, very occasionally for certain things, but not very often at all because it's garbage. Models for Heroes in. Hey, good. Hey, dude. How you doing, buddy? Good afternoon, all. Fox, Amazon literally just delivered a plush, soft, luxury foot mat for my foot. Is that the noodle rug? Good, isn't it? Did you get one or two? Because one is great, but having two of them on top of each other, even more squishy. I've got one on now, but I've also got big, thick, woolly diabetic socks, purely because they're soft and they're squishy, so my feet are really comfortable at the minute. I'm not diabetic, I just, they're really comfortable socks. They're basically just soft socks with no seams on the inside. But yes, awesome, and thank you for joining us. Almost all of us use Tamiya cement, says Port of Rail. Yeah, pretty much most people will actually use Tamiya extra thin because tubes of cement is garbage. Model Making Mayhem is off to have dinner. Toodle peeps, people. Take care, buddy. Thanks for coming in. George Gabriel is in. Morning all. Hey, George. George is kind of finished. We're kind of done. You missed me. You missed me almost swearing a lot with the dude in the cupola. If you ever ask me to make one of these again, I'm not going to make one again for you. You'll never get to make one of these again. Never, ever, ever. But I think we're just about done. Don't need that. Don't need that. Let us do a rough assemble. That on that side. That on that side. Now I know where they go. Now I know where they go. On there like that. Diddly bomb, a diddly bomb, a diddly bomb. What's that one? Them. That's one of them. That's a front one. That's a front one. Side. Side. These will probably all fall off as soon as I move them, so don't be surprised if they all just tumble off straight away. Side. Doing that completely the wrong angle. It would make sense if I actually looked at what I was doing, didn't it? Put that on there. Goes on there like that. Get on now. There we go. Don't make me come over there and give you a good old-fashioned Jack Meadows bollocking. No. On there. That's one of them. That's one of them. Oh, it's going to fall off. Don't you dare fall off. Sits on there. Oh, I've got a really itchy nose. It's really quite annoying me. I need to shave my moustache and beard a bit. They're doing the... Every now and then, if you've got a moustache or... If you've not got a moustache or beard, you won't know this, but if you've got one, you'll understand. Every now and then you get a little sort of moustache hair or nose hair, a beard hair or something, that just decides to stick up into your, like, your nose area. And it gets really annoying because it tickles. Another one of them again. Legging it off across there. Goes on there like that. I appear to have... Oh, got these on the front, haven't we? That's right. Now, these might not be the right ones because I didn't actually... I forgot about the front bit. So I could be on a losing streak here. I could have got the wrong grav plates on the front. But hey, it's just a... It's just a quick rough test assemble. I don't think these front ones are going to stay on. They might not be the right plates, to be perfectly honest. I might have the wrong ones on there. Meh. There we go. That one. If I can get it on without making all the others fall off. Nope, it's going to fall off. It's a rough assemblage. You're a rough assemblage. Oh! Right. These bits go on the back. I'll keep them off separate for paintillations. I've not put the little clear bit on the bottom because it's a bit silly. It just kind of sits like that, I think. I'm not even sure how it attaches to the... Oh, it has the most vaguest of attachment points to the base. Okay, pretty vague. And there we go. That is the Primula cheese. It's at the top of the bottom. Oh, there we go. No, we don't. I think I may have to... No! Get in the hole. Wow. More bad designs, Games Workshop. You guys suck. Seriously. There we go. No, we don't. There we go. There, it's on a stand now. Wow. Yes. There we go. We have the Primula cheese. Let's see if I can get this thing on. Kind of annoying. Probably a way to do it. So it used to be, what, that way? Oh, it's not actually on properly anyway. Never mind. It's, yeah. It's got little tiny tabs that go into little tiny... Why they couldn't just give you a hole? It's nonsense. Let's just put it on there. I think it was before. There we go. Done. Primani Repulsor. I will never make one of these again, or if I do, I will not put the dude in the top, and I will not put them on first. Not Games Workshop's finest hour, I have to... Oh, that's going to stay off now. Not Games Workshop's finest hour, I have to say. Very not their finest hour. Vastly superior in quality compared to older kits, of course. But in terms of build experience, very similar to older kits, with a few issues that should not exist on a modern injection molded CAD designed model kit, if it's not Revell or Italeri. So yeah, not my favourite build ever, but it looks pretty rad. Now it's done, it looks rad, and it's going to look great when I paint it. He says, without sounding egotistical, I'm going to enjoy painting it, don't get me wrong. It's going to be a fun paint job. But yeah, that's not a good kit, that. Quick look at the chat. Noodle Rug in singular fits perfectly. Thanks for the recommendation. You're more than welcome. If you ever want more squishies, just get another one. Having two of them is even better. It's like getting a cheeseburger with double burger. Whoa. I use a small kitchen blowtorch to melt the edges and then stick them together. I'll use whatever glue that works. Some of the stuff I use is mystery plastic. That's true. It's not a Bandai kit, Fox. You need to use glue. Says Paul. No, the base you're not supposed to... Oh yes, you are, aren't you? You're supposed to glue it on. Yeah, I know, but... I don't... You shouldn't have to glue that to the base, because then how do you put it in your battle case and transport it? You should be able to take it off the base for transportation. Really? Really? No, I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure something. What I might do, I could always glue a magnet on there and have a magnet in here, and then it would actually... I don't know. We'll figure something out. I'll figure something out. I've got to think how I'm going to get it to George in a transportation case and attached to the stand. That's half a skirmish case taken up just with that, with sticky up bits. Kit bashing is great. Bikes now, says Raging Modeler. Bikes maybe next year when I've painted all the other things from the Warhammer Conquest partwork. I might make that commitment that I'll build the bikes when I finish painting everything else. I get that with my hair, as it's kind of long. I don't know what that means. So there we go. Double check, I've not missed anything in chat. Yeah. Oh, Speedy Crate was surprised I glued a whole dude together in one live stream. Yeah, it's only half a dude. You only get his upper half and his sort of crotch area. You don't get all the legs and that. But like I said, it does look fantastic. It looks mint. I like the look of it. I love the look of it. It's a fantastic looking vehicle. Don't get me wrong. I love the design. It's metal AF. I like it. I like the bits on the engines. I'm going to have fun painting those. I like the fact it's got some greebles. That's good. It's covered in grav plates. That's kind of cool. I like the little sort of modern AFV style turret on the top. I don't like the fact it doesn't have a little tongue and groove setting. It's just literally plonk it in. There you go. That's a bit weird. That's not how tank kits work, and they've never worked. It's literally, you've got 40 years of plastic model tank kits to work off the GW of history there. You could have... Never mind. Yeah, I do like the look of it. I like the look of it a lot. It's a very nice looking vehicle. I just don't like the assembly and some of the decisions they've made. But hey, at the end of the day, it still looks good. But that's going to do us for that, I think. And it's just coming up to home time as well. There you go. And models for here. I haven't done that one. That's an old comment. Yes, so thank you for coming in, George. I know you've just joined us. Sorry about that. But yes, that's that done. I will have a look in the box and see what is left now. It might just be a couple of scenery pieces and some Space Marine bikes that I need to do, and I might just do those off camera because they're not very interesting for me. It's mostly clean up on them, and they're not very interesting, so I might just get them done. And of course, if this is the last Warhammer Sunday with the Warhammer Conquest stuff, then in the coming months I will start, of course, the process of getting all these painted up and video the paintings. It's going to be a long project. It's going to take me a long time to get all these painted. And film the process as well. So this is, I've got lots and lots of video content to make now about painting all of these things for the next few years. Yeah. So yes, George, you'll be getting your Sazabi at some point and your other bits and bobs, but it might be a while before you get all these Warhammer bits coming to you. You might get them in bits and bobs, like I finished 10 Space Marines, there's a package. I finished this, there it goes off for you in a box. I don't think I'll wait till I've got everything painted to send you the whole lot, because yeah, but if this is the last one, then it just remains for me to say thank you massively to George for making this entire project possible. Without George, I wouldn't have even subscribed to the Warhammer Conquest, and the content we've had for all these builds over the last year or whatever it's been just wouldn't have existed. So massive thank you to George. You made this possible. You have a Space Marines army coming your way eventually at some point. And I can only thank you for my Death Guard army. It remains for me to say thank you for watching. Of course, I will be back tomorrow for the eModels live stream on the eModels channel at 9 o'clock. Chris is streaming tonight at 8 o'clock, we think, as far as we know, if his computer hasn't exploded. I mean, I can send them at all at once, George, if you want, but it'll be a long time because I've got to get them all painted. I don't think you want that. So I'll send them as they get done. When I can get to the post office and post things, I'll send these as they get done, rather than just wait a year and a half to send you a whole load of stuff. Once I've painted a bit, I'll send it to you. You see what I mean? At least you'll get stuff earlier then. Anyway, yes, Chris, tonight, 8 o'clock, assuming his computer's fine, 8 o'clock on Gross Models, the channel Gross Models, is Warhammer Sundays. So make sure to go and watch that. After you've had your tea and your dinner and that, I'll be sitting down to watch that. I'm not sure if he's still working on the Orc truck or if he's moved on now. I'm confused now. I don't know what actually he's working on. I think it's probably still the Orc truck. I think we're still ongoing with that. But he'll be doing something cool, so make sure to come and watch. I'll be back on Monday for Warhammer, for eModels Monday, and throughout the course of the week, I will try. I haven't had any luck this week getting any time to work on this, to do some filming, so I will try and get the first painting episode of the Lehman Russ Tabletop Trauma Centre. Can't get my words out. Tabletop Trauma Centre going. So yes, hopefully that's the project for this week. All being well. I've had no time this week. Just real life's kicked in every 5 minutes. It's like, oh! And I've had some time to do streams, but that's in the evenings when I wouldn't do any filming anyway. So anyway, that's going to do it. So thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, every single one of you. I'll see you later on Chris's channel for his stream. I'll see you tomorrow for eModels. And until next time, I will say, I'll just hit my buttons first. Hang on.
Slap it on.
Yeah, my buttons are still working. I'll say take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome like any of these. Go be awesome. And until next time, adios, amoebas.